And we're recording. Now I need I did not mean to open Excel. I wanted to click on my notes. The problem with having buttons pinned to your taskbar. Alright. Welcome my friends and welcome back. I am Omar Krieg, your Lord and Commander of the Krieg Dominion, and your host for this, the 36th episode of Along the Frontier, an Alien RPG campaign. This session is entitled Badge. With me, as always, are, of course, my wonderful players, Rodance, Luke, and Kane. Let's take a moment to check in with them, see what's new and exciting for them in the last week or so since we last saw them. Meanwhile, I'll just be over here pondering the vast depths of the universe, not at all looking for anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering how long it's going to take Rodance to figure out what is going on with these little things I'm doing while we check in with people.
The poor abused head face huggers.
I'm sorry?
The poor abused face huggers.
Well, they're
Were
not
you
face
You
shooting
run
huggers.
them
for?
around like they're so busy.
Were you just shooting for head crabs?
Was I just shooting for head crabs?
No, her.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a gravity gun and a saw blade. I can't fix this problem like that, man. That'd be fun if I could.
I'm almost
Yeah.
afraid to figure out what the heck what y'all doing.
Or we need to get some sort of like dinged up,
Do I need to go
scratched,
get
bloody
you a
crowbar.
photo?
The fucking
Like,
crowbar.
oh god. I still vote the gravity gun and then the saw blade you peel off of things as you're running through that one town is the best mission ever. Because you never run out of ammo. But yeah, in any case, a game that I've been
what's new and
playing
exciting
lately,
for Rodance?
a game that I've been playing is going to open beta tomorrow.
Oh yeah, what game is that?
Bizarre, as in marketplace spelling,
Yeah.
not bizarre as in weirdo.
Bazaar.
Yes, and it's okay. The entire purpose of the game is shiny cards do pretty card back things, and then you make a little deck board, and then it auto fights, and then you move on, and then you get little options, and then you make a deck board, and it auto fights, and you move on. It's just super shiny and entertaining to watch.
Okay.
Purely for the shininess.
Yeah.
'Cause it's
Listen,
funny.
ooh, shiny is a thing.
Yeah, it is an ooh shiny game because it's freaking pretty, and its monetization scheme is actually not too bad.
I mean,
So it'll be free to play.
I mean, not for nothing. That's part of my appeal for Manor Lords that we were just talking about before we started was that visually, there's a lot of aspects of that game that are just visually incredible. Like the scenery, the environment, the buildings that you're working on, putting up and all that stuff, they look really good.
The other game that I've been playing these last week or so is Aloft because it finally came into early access. And let me tell you, I see those stupid building pieces in my sleep.
Yeah, I get that every now and again myself where if I get into a game too hard and heavy, typically the first couple of times I like right after I buy it or I get back into it because it comes back around in the rotation that I have. Yeah, I'll definitely have those moments where I'm like, I'm pretty sure I slept, thought, and dreamt of BattleTech all night last night.
Well, it's like Lego pieces, like in your head, rotating them and then putting them together.
Oh yeah.
Because Aloft is basically Raft, except it's Sky Islands.
Okay.
And a lot less murder, death, hobo, fish, and sharks.
Gotcha. All right. Anything else?
I like it, but it's not bad. I'm waiting. I'm excited to see that the servers are probably going to crash tomorrow and be down for a day or two while they're fixing shit because it's an open beta.
I mean, that seems normal for a lot of games to experience at least once when they go from anywhere between early access to full live.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited for them to get through this because they're going to be releasing Hero number 4, and I really like the item set that I've seen so far with that new one. So,
gotcha. All right, Luke, our far to the north friend. By far to the north, it's in my case at least, it's far to the east and then some ways north. What's new and exciting?
Just a little bit north, mostly east.
Yeah, a lot of east.
Yeah. So not too much. Begin working again officially on Thursday. There's more delays But here I am waiting for parts to come in, I guess, for my job.
Okay.
And just anxiety. Just like, hey,
You don't have to wait
uh
for that. That's been here. It's not going
yeah,
away.
yeah, no. And yeah, so mostly just that and working on some projects and things like that. Working on a productivity app for like a calendar slash budgeting app, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, just to do it myself so that I can like have it the way that I want it to work.
Right.
I know there's like a lot of them online, but a lot of them online also scrape your data on like your banking and things.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Well, that's
I
the
just
thing
want one
about
that doesn't do anything that
yeah.
other than just input and then calculate.
Well, there's a lot of apps out there, obviously, for a lot of things. Any one topic can have like 27 different apps for it. But all basically do the same thing. But what you want is the one that you want that does what you want it to do, which is usually the problem I
Yeah,
find, especially like when I go looking for games. I'm like, I want a game that does this, and then I'm like, well, 6 hours later, still haven't found it. I guess it's not there yet.
yeah. It's like, oh, finally I found one. Oh, it's stealing my bank information.
Yeah, yeah. Then there's that. That's always the issue.
Yeah. But other than that, fell into Albion Online, which is also a time sink, but a lot less a one.
I've heard of that. Let me
Than
look it
I
up really quick. I've heard
Yeah,
of it before.
it's kind of like a fantasy Eve Online.
Yeah. Oh, it's got a RuneQuest feel to it.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Anything
that's
else?
it for me.
All right.
No,
We can hop down to Kane, see what's new and exciting for him. Returning college student. Let's see what he's got.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
oh,
so excited about that college life. What you got for
So
us, man?
I don't like I understand that I am a certain way and I'm a product of my experiences.
Yes, yes.
I also understand that I put like very little effort into uh e- especially when I'm tired, which is all the time now because my sleep's all fucked up again.
Ah,
I put very little effort into mimicking the social cues of people around me at this point at school. And it's really starting to cause me problems.
I'm very curious to see where the rest of this is going. So please.
Well, so I already knew, and on a different Discord, people have been making fun of me for it. But like, for example, I park some distance from the school and I ride a bus around campus to get places because of limited parking. The bus route that my assigned parking lot is on every morning when I show up there, I park in the parking lot. I wait anywhere from 5 minutes to 30 minutes for a bus to show up. I get on. The next stop on the route to picking people up is the sorority village.
Oh dear.
Most mornings, but so my 8 a.m. mornings, there's basically nobody who gets on the bus. My 9:45 mornings, there's a shitload of people who get on the bus. And I try to be polite about where I sit on the bus because I know none of these people will sit in the seats near me. They will standing room instead of be near me on the bus.
It's always a wonderful feeling, isn't it?
that
Yeah.
is the whole thing.
So I'm like, talking to the guys in the other Discord, like, you're all young, recent college grads, basically making me feel like an old fucking man. What the fuck am I doing to make people think I'm like, what do they think I'm a murderer? Or do they think I work? So do they think I'm some sort of like really badly planted cop or something? Like, what is this?
Hello, fellow kids. I too would like to purchase 4 drugs.
Right? Like, I don't understand. But I thought, whatever, it's something I'll work on. But I had a major project to do, and the group wouldn't meet. They did not want to be in the same place as me. And the
Wow.
group project was worth twice as many points as an exam. And we got a
Damn.
bad grade on it because nobody wanted to be around me.
Damn. What's the evil
I
vibe
knew
you're
some,
putting off, man?
I don't know. I I tried. I talking to people from all parts of my life to be like, tell me when this happened, like what's going on.
You've become a
Is this
blank
just
in
a
real
thing?
life.
I've become a blank in real life.
Oh,
So
I'm sorry, Kane. Go
Well,
ahead.
I mean, Kane
I
has
t-
a little bit of resting bitch face, but that's not normally enough to scare off idiot hangover children. So,
Idiot
Especially for
hangover.
credit in like a college, I guess.
yeah,
I
like I'm
mean,
trying to figure out what's going on. I'm not wearing uniform stuff like some people do, right?
Mm.
Just wearing jeans and a sweatshirt. That's all I like. That's it. Like there's nothing spooky about any of that.
Like your current kind of attire right now. You got
I wore the sweatshirt to school today.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just
You
wear
look like a
jeans.
teacher. Just maybe I don't know. But see, even then, like it's just
But I'll
the
see
only
the
thing I can
I'll see
think of.
people I'll see
But
people who look like instructors walking down the sidewalk at the school just talking with students. Like that's not an issue, right?
yeah. No, I think
I don't
honestly,
know.
it's these younger folk, for lack of I don't want to say younger folk because I don't want to sound degradatory.
You don't want
Degradatory.
to sound ageist.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, like some things I've encountered, like on social media, is that it seems as though there is a trend within certain parts of the younger community that is like, well, if you're of this particular group, I want nothing to do with you, period.
Mm.
It's not racism or anything of that nature. It may or may
Ageism?
not be age and or gender related, but it's like, and I'm just sitting here and I'm like, I've been too inclusive, I think, like open to anyone sort of thing, at least in basing my opinion on people at an individual level instead of at a group level. So I'm just like blown away to like, well, this type of people I get nervous around. And I'm like, wow, well, that's like close to 50% of the human population. So good luck with that. Also,
I,
sorry
I
that you feel that way because maybe there may be a reason for that. Like
so
legitimately.
I polled people from different periods of my life, right? Like I found a couple people from high school to talk to even, and I was like, look, have I always been like this? One of them was unsurprised because we kept up all over, across time. A couple of the ones I talked to infrequently were like, no, you were always super friendly. You were like you were the person that put our friend group together. Like you're such an outgoing person. And I was like, okay, I don't remember that. I certainly am not that anymore.
Wait. You mean me and the word outgoing in the same sentence, right? Did I hear
Yeah,
that right?
some
the
people,
guy
man.
the guy who who had mentioned earlier was complaining about his work woes to me. I asked him about it. He was like, "Yeah, you've always been a super intense, scary person."
Oh.
He's like, I talked to my NCO about whether or not it was okay to talk to you because you just mean mug everybody all the time. And I was like, okay. Well, apparently this has been going on for at least a decade then.
Okay,
Like,
so I want to say, Kane, welcome to Resting Bitch Face Club. I have the exact same problem.
I also have had similar people say similar things to me. Of course, like, and I've even told other
maybe
people. One day I showed up at somebody's house with a box, and I was like, and they actually came out to the door, or whatever, and I gave them the box, and I was kind of in a shitty mood anyway, but I was like trying to be at least polite, respectful, etc. So I gave them the box, kind of smirked a little bit. I was like, sorry for the RBF. I'm kind of having a bad day today, but here's your box, and I hope you have a great day. And they're like, oh, no
maybe
worries, no worries. I'm like, okay, well, at least on the surface, they didn't give a shit about me looking like a pissed off asshole.
maybe it just never really came up that much because in the military environment, people probably just expected that I was just being a salty NCO.
Yeah, it was
Hmm.
it was encouraged, in fact, to be a salty
Yeah,
NCO.
and now I'm just a salty human being, and it shows. I don't know.
Maybe.
That's my current funny story is the children fear me. I don't do anything to deserve it.
It's not like you're hiding in the corners waiting for someone to show up and go, wah!
Yeah. I, I've put in a lot of work at like, controlling my behavioral issues. So it's not like I'm doing really weird shit. I'm just sitting on a bus trying not to
uh,
fall asleep in the morning.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember being pretty polarizing in like high school and college years myself. I never went to college or anything, but like um I think this is visible.
somewhat. I don't know how well on the stream it'll show,
Yeah.
but
No, but basically, like I was the resident goth kid at the school, and
Ah.
I was very very polarized in my small community for being like outgoing and myself, and most people just hated me.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, but it was like whatever. It was just autism.
I have found, and this is strictly my personal opinion, but it is, of course, based
have
on
to-
my own, like,
I have to check on something. I'll be right back.
yep. You know,
Okay.
this is obviously based on my own experiences and whatnot, but I find in general that it's best to just do what you're going to do, be what you're going to be. Don't try to fit in with this or that or whatever. Just be who you are. Because at the end of the day, you're probably going to get more enjoyment out of it. You know, you're probably going to get
Yeah.
more from it than you would if you tried to pursue something else. Now, granted, there's a few caveats, like if you're a chimo, don't do that. That's bad. Very bad. I will fucking kill you if I find out. You know, that sort of thing. And now that I said that live on
Jeez.
stream, I don't know how that's going to stand up to any censorship, but whatever. I feel like if there's anything I could die on the hill for, that one is okay. You know, but it's just like, because I've encountered people where they're like, well, I don't know what, thinking of like cliques, right? In high school or college or whatever, in the generic conversation of, well, I think I should be this, I think I should be that. I'm like, fuck all that. Be what you are. If you don't like what you are, do something, be something else. But don't try to fit into this one group because this, that, the other, because this, that, the other. Be who you are. Be who you think you should be.
That's cute, but that doesn't work that way
No,
with human psychology.
I realize that.
It's actually really bad because young female teenagers, well, female presenting especially, but female in general, female presenting teenagers and young adults are the most socially susceptible to the perceptions of the others around them.
Yes.
There's a reason why when you have instances of mass hysteria and other things like that, it's most common in teenage girls. But part of it is because they social click in a different manner, and it's a lot stronger. So all it takes is exactly one person to just have a bad vibe off of a person for them to say that to everyone else, and then suddenly think you're the weirdo because one person had a bad vibe on one day.
Yeah. I've seen that.
Mhm.
Maybe
I've
not
been on the
necessarily
bad side of that
realized
a
it
couple
quite like
times.
that, but yeah, I mean, that's just my personal take. Obviously, it works for some and it doesn't work for all, but it's just my opinion. Let's play some Alien though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get started, is there anybody that needs me to drag and drop anything or any skill rolls that need to be made to learn anything? I think we covered everything last week, but I always feel like I want to make sure we check this block before we move on.
We should probably spend some of this XP.
Yeah.
XP spent.
All right, so Kane sounds like he's good. Kane, I don't see additional characters for you yet. This is not like you didn't have to have this done by tonight. Although, with what I'm expecting to get
Toss me-
through,
Yeah, toss me a sheet and I'll work on it while we do stuff.
what do I do? Just click on the add new person.
Yeah, just add a new person and give me ownership. I mean, fortunately, creating characters mechanically in this game is incredibly fast and easy. I just need to think of a concept.
Yeah, they expect you to die a lot. I honestly am looking
Yeah.
at my list of talents, and I can't think of any additional talents I really want.
It is supposed to be because characters can die so much as Omar will not believe me.
No,
Yeah.
well, listen, I know in, like, for instance, if you're playing in not the, what is it? Oh, cinematic. If you're playing in the cinematic mode, that absolutely is a thing.
Well, yeah, because most people are supposed to die in cinematic mode.
Exactly. Owner. All right, there should be a Kane Part 2 in there for you that you can play with. You should be able to do it. If I did it right.
I'm being cursed with having many conversations with myself. Is that how this is going?
What are you talking about?
No,
Like in
I'll
character
redeem
stuff?
it.
Okay. You just want me to make another one for you?
You're gonna
Well,
have all the
no, you get to
conversations with
play them, but
yourself.
then I will get to have them as my fire team buddy, and then you won't have to talk to yourself. Do you know how
Okay.
frustrating it is to talk to your own fire team buddy and it's also yourself?
Now,
Yes.
Like it
listen,
was so
I think
bad.
everybody
I
at this
almost
table has been a
suggested
GM
to
before.
Love
We know how it
group
goes.
that we each play one person in each pair because talking to yourself sucks.
Yeah. Listen, I
That's
think
why
all
we
four
just
of
come
us
up
have
with those results.
all four of us have been game masters for any particular games that we are in, have been in.
Mhm.
We know what it's like to have an NPC talk to another NPC, with a third NPC giving sidebar commentary, I'm sure.
Hmm.
Ooh, shit, he
Mhm.
said that. Yes, he did say that, Bob.
Yep. It is definitely a thing.
All right. While you guys are figuring out whatever you need to figure out with that, let's move on. Previously on Along the Frontier, the Sonderdach mine has been utterly destroyed, and our heroes have only barely escaped with their lives and their sanity, although that is still up for debate. Finally free of the ruined complex, the team has linked up with Eckhart and left the moon behind them. With new rendezvous coordinates, the team drifts off to sleep, and the Saturday the 14th goes FTL. And then we have a cold open. Our scene opens with the dropship emerging from faster than light and nearing a small blue-green world. About that world orbits a single Conestoga-class frigate, black, bereft of any and all markings. Saturday drifts effortlessly inward, eventually lining up with and entering the frigate, gently coming to a rest on the hangar deck. There's a blast of steam from somewhere just off camera as we get a panning shot of the dropship as it lands, and then the view goes to the inside, showing dark screens and dim lighting. On one monitor, we see the words, Karen, relinquishing control back to Mother. A moment passes, then another. The lights flicker slightly, and then the monitor comes back to humming life, and the next line we see on the screen, Mother, I have control once more. Anomaly redacted. Operations resuming. Crew awakening. And we turn now to a shot of the sleeper pods as they begin to open, revealing the team as they are being awakened. You guys have a moment now if you want to take it. The 5 of you are waking up, and I imagine there are at least 7 pods arranged in some sort of circle around a central column like we see in the original Alien movie. It might have a slightly different configuration, who knows, but there are 2 sleeper pods occupied and not opening. And they have the sleeping forms of Lieutenant Eckhart and Crew Chief What's-His-Face that we've never named in this entire show, and I was just looking, and apparently he actually has a name.
He does have a name.
I've never seen it
He
until
walked
tonight.
in on them once. He has a name.
Yeah. Well, I think like in the published book, he actually does have a name. I just don't remember what it is off the top of my head. I want to say it's like Sanchez or something.
I don't know. I have the book open. I could look it up, but I don't care about him enough to do it.
Yeah, he's such a low level responsibility type guy. He's barely it's like every time we see him, it's like a different extra that just happens to have similar features. You know, so and such tall, dark hair, dark eyes, never has a speaking line. At any rate, the 5 of you, your pods are opening up. And on that note, Wescott, I need that wake up roll.
Oh God.
Yeah, sorry. There's my compassion for your mental ills.
Let's see. Did Westcott clear her stress because she slept? Yes. Roll.
Uh-oh. Do you get a push with this roll?
I don't think so. This is just a flat stat roll.
Yeah.
Right?
This could be
If
problematic.
you fail, you are having a bad day. Your stress level increases by 1, and you cannot relieve stress until the next day.
But is the option for pushing applicable to this particular kind of roll?
I mean, I don't know because it doesn't say I can't push it, but it doesn't say I can.
Correct. I will leave the choice up to you as the player of this person, because playing this mental illness can be difficult, and also pushing and succeeding and not having to play with this challenge goes kind of against the intent of the game, I guess,
Nah,
if that makes sense.
I'll let
So,
it go.
Okay.
I don't
Oh.
think you're supposed to be able to
I
roll it.
I feel like that's probably the right
Nah.
answer, but I'm also going to be like, we can let it slide, but also this is the way it's supposed to be. So yeah, as everybody is slowly sitting upwards, there's Wescott. And Wescott, why don't you tell us, since you had to make an action first and failed this roll, what is Wescott's thinking and what are her feelings as she's first waking up at this point? And she's just like, no, I'm not going to be part of the human race today.
She rolls out of it and just walks over to the coffee machine saying nothing.
Okay. And the other 4 individuals waking up, including the Marine that is probably going to be getting removed from the team, Wally, as we call him, because nobody can pronounce his last name correctly.
That's just your personal problem, my man.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Wolzinski is quite easy to pronounce.
Well, he also sucks at combat, so that's
That's a separate problem, and that is indeed why he's about to get the boot.
What about the rest of you, though? What are you guys doing? I know Payne is busy trying to make a new character.
I think because this isn't on the full ship. This is our stealth.
Yeah, this is
FTL.
your little Saturday the 14th, which isn't the standard dropship Cheyenne. It's a different. It's that other one that I can't think of off the top of my head, but you guys know what it is.
Instead of his regular routine where he gets up, he goes to his wall locker, opens it up, and he's got a bunch of stuff there. It's probably like even smaller and compact if we even have wall lockers instead of just like chests at the bottom of the pods or something.
No, I feel like you guys would still have your. They might be like you mentioned, slightly less cubic footage, but still wall lockers nonetheless.
Okay. I mean, he'll go to his wall locker. He'll open it up. He's got his hydration pack taped up on the inside of the door like he always does.
Yeah, because of course this locker has, instead of 2 or 3 coat hooks, it only has 1, and you've probably got your uniform hanging on it.
Yeah. So he just like there's the sound of tape being torn off of metal to get his hydration pack off.
It probably a bit of prophetic. He's like, God damn it, get off of there.
And then you'll look over and see that the flight crew aren't being woken up. And he's going to walk over and, in his incredible expert opinion, he wants to look at the readout for Eckhart's pod and see if everything's okay.
All of the telltale signs and readouts and whatnot are in what you would understand to be nominal, nominal conditions, so all green or whatever. But there is one word flashing over both of them: quarantine.
Oh, that's not good.
Pike looks down at it. He's still like waking up,
Yeah,
drinking his hydration pack, and he just like says out loud, "The fuck quarantine? If anyone should be quarantined, it should be us, not them."
Yeah.
Wally
so
definitely
what's
gets a look
everybody
on
else
his
thinking
face.
at that?
Wally is not really super pleased about the entire thing, but he kind of just does his wake up routine. Wescott is just sitting there drinking coffee, or like leaning against the counter next to the coffee pot drinking coffee. Like she don't even look up.
What is Warren got going on over there? Pack mule, menacing. Are you making rolls over
Yes.
there?
I'm gonna be in a second.
Okay.
You don't need to. Pike really likes you, and he has both of them.
That sounds like free talents to me.
Do I
Nice.
need to read you the list of ridiculousness off of my sheet just so you can check? I have like
Okay.
20 talents.
No, it'll be fine. Those,
Let me
so-
confirm that you are taking both of those talents. Pack mule and
Yes.
menacing.
2,
So
3,
Pike will
4,
look over
5,
at
6, 7.
Wescott and say, "Could you check that quarantine and make sure it's like real and not just some sort of fuck up in the system? I'm gonna go up to the flight deck and see where we are."
I guess I shuffle my way over to the
This is gonna be amazing.
local terminal. Do I have my basic kit stuff back yet?
You had
We haven't resupplied.
did you lose
Okay.
did you lose all of your tech gear? Was it one of the handful of things that got dropped along the way? I don't
Yeah.
remember. Okay. So no, the best thing you could do is you can just interface with or interact with the computer terminal.
Yep.
So that'll be just I guess Comtech, probably like a minus, well, just straight Comtech.
Well, it's my normal Comtech. It should be removing the other equipment.
Okay.
I do it quickly.
Yeah, you do it
And
quickly. Well, hold
let's
on.
see.
Hold on. Before you do that, can you be motivated to do it quickly right now in your current state of
Fine. Then I
affairs?
do it for hiding my tracks and unexpected information. I
Oh,
do it at
here's-
normal time.
So here's an argument for trying to do it quickly.
Go ahead.
The faster she gets it done, the sooner she can go back to ruminating.
Yes, the Bill Gates lazy man method. I got you.
I don't want to do this. How do I get this done as quickly as possible?
I-
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
fucking
Okay,
care.
so I do quickly and hide my tracks. Or
Okay.
actually, no, wait. I kind of want unexpected information more than I want to hide my tracks.
Okay.
I mean, we're not trying
So
to
which
wake
one are
them
you
up, we're
going?
just
You
trying to
want
figure out what's
unexpected
going on.
information?
I want quickly and unexpected information.
Your unexpected information is as you are preparing to enter the initial inquiries, you see the line anomaly redacted. And as soon as you start typing, that line disappears. But it's there long enough for you to consciously recognize that line was there in the coding, whatever reporting prompts. With that, you do a query and try to figure out what's going on with Eckhart and the crew chief. And the only thing you get is that, Lieutenant Eckhart and so Sanchez, or whatever his name is, are quarantine status. All systems, any sort of like medical report information is green. It's just that they are currently under quarantine. No additional information is provided. Pike, you went up onto the flight deck, correct?
Yeah, I want to go see where the fuck we are.
You appear to be in the inside of what looks like a Conestoga class frigate, much like the Tambatam. The only difference is everything is fucking immaculately clean and almost gleaming. As if either somebody took the Tambatam and steam cleaned the inside of it, or this has just come off the factory deck. This is not the Tambatam. I'm not.
Did we go back in time?
Like the fact that what'd you say?
We go back in time.
Suddenly, it's a whole new episode. It's definitely a Conestoga, but the fact that everything looks so clean and pristine is what makes you believe that this is not the Tambatam.
I want to check up.
I'm trying to look up those talents while I'm doing
Somewhere-
this. You guys know I'm
somewhere
not good
on
at multiple
this-
tasks at once, so
Oh,
I'm listening.
yeah. Awesome.
So I look that up and I will actually go to wherever Pike is and Staff Sergeant, and then I repeat what I heard or what I found.
The anomaly redacted.
And then the fact that they're technically just marked as quarantined but in good status.
Okay.
Without any particular reason for being quarantined.
Anomaly redacted. That they've removed, they got rid of an anomaly?
Redacted normally means scrubbed information. So it sounds like there was an anomaly of some kind, but then they removed the line when I was looking.
What
Because
Because if I
is
pull it up again, it's gone. And then I look out the front windshield and go, where the hell are we?
I don't know. I was about to ask and find out, and I'll turn on the radio and I'll key up.
Can't I find items now? There it is.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'll
Reaper.
flip on the radio. See. Oh, that's why that's blank. That's the wrong sheet. Oh no, I'm gonna have to deal with this now.
Which MOS is this guy? Hospital
He's a medic.
foreman?
Yeah, it's Corman. Reaper 2-1 November to flight control. Please acknowledge.
It's obvious the call went out, but there is no response. Give me an observation roll.
Am I perchance avoiding something dangerous?
No.
Okay.
Although, good use of reminding me that I may need to remember that. Okay.
Oh, whoops, I have that set wrong. We set that back to public. I got 1 success.
Yes, I saw it. I don't know about the others.
Yeah, be charitable.
I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. So, the message went out. You're not particularly good with comms, so I think by default, Wescott picks this up. You're calling in on what is otherwise considered to be an automated channel. In other words, it's a channel that's used by remote control or auto docking procedures. There is no local live channel for you to call in on or receive calls from.
I sit down at the flight controls and I start talking to Mother.
And what would
'cause
you
it
like to know
has to
from
have a
Mother?
mother.
Yeah, what would you
I
like to know
ask
from
them-
Mother?
I send the digital equivalent of his audio message. So what he just did was you would be talking to a person. I'm doing the same thing, but I'm talking to Mother, the computer system that a ship like this is guaranteed to have.
Yes.
I just reach out to Mother for acknowledgement and orders.
To be clear, Mother of your dropship or Mother of the ship that you are inside of?
And the ship we're inside of, because
Okay.
I know I'm already going through the Mother of the
Yeah.
dropship.
I wanted to make sure, so I gave you the correct answer because there's obviously a thing going on here. You receive a text response on the screen, and it says, "Stand by for further information."
I just turn back and go, well, that sounds like standard shut up and wait message.
That or hurry up and wait. But yeah, same difference, really. Let's go to Warren and Wright and Wally. What are you three doing?
Wally is looking for direction.
He's just sitting there in his skivvies.
Well, no, he will get dressed in, plain in basic clothes and then, go about getting breakfast and washing and nonsense. But other than that, he'll just sit at like the little break table just waiting.
Warren, you've got experience.
Looking at Warren.
Yeah, Warren, you've got some experience. You've got some rank over these two. You kind of know what happens post-mission, especially with someone like Pike and then his little buddy Wescott. What does Warren do to prevent Wally or Wright from doing what could otherwise be considered a social faux pas, like feeding yourself before doing anything else?
Hmm.
I'm not trying to give you like any undue hints. Like I really want to know what you say to these two new boots. Like, what would you tell them that maybe doing something productive with their time and lack in lieu of any other guidance? Damn, I wish I could speak sometimes.
Okay, so in lieu of any other guidance by the higher ups, I guess they have to kind of look to him, right?
Yeah, they would, because they don't know any better. And Warren has had the experience of knowing that usually when you guys come in off of a mission and start downtime, there's usually some work that has to be done. You may or may not remember. That's fine. I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to be cleaning my rifle and equipment while smoking a couple cigarettes. And in my skivvies while
in your skivvies, that's awesome. I love it.
I mean it's either that or have the pants around my neck again, and I don't want to do
that. What a callback.
I
love those.
I like the idea that he owns it. He doesn't tell these guys who didn't experience that what that means. You just wear it around your neck and look at them like, the fuck you looking at?
Like, what else are you supposed to do with your pants while you're cleaning your weapon and your skimmies? Let's go, Private. Get it right. And this is how the monkeys know not to touch the ladder.
Oh my god. I love that experiment, by the way.
Yeah, you do. I'm glad you got that reference right away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sad too.
Terrible one.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's gonna just try to clean his gear.
Okay.
timely fashion, try to influence them to go monkey see, monkey do, guys.
not to play on that monkey pun.
Well, yeah.
So Wally will shove his food in his face, like he'll go, "Oh, breakfast sandwich," oh, and then he will go to cleaning his weapons as well.
Give me just a second. I got some stuff I gotta drop onto this character. What do I need? Standard kit.
Yeah, I have the e-watch on my sheet if you want to copy it from mine.
Is there a standard kit specific item that I'm looking for?
Well, that's just like the armor, the pulse rifle,
Jeez.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Make a list. I will do
That
it
is
at
a
the.
list.
Yes,
Do
I
you
hear
want me
you.
to make a list of the standard kit?
Well, no, make
just
make a
drop
list
it
of
in
what.
the chat?
Well, I was gonna say make a list of what he needs, and I will add it later. I'm gonna get distracted too often and too much. Trying to find.
So
Oh,
that
shit,
sounds
good
like
now.
just go log in as tech support and add it yourself.
I don't want to look at his tokens and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So Pike and Wescott, you guys are up on the flight deck. The last thing you got was, as you could tell, you are very clearly not on the Tam. You received a message on your computer terminal that says "Stand by for further information." Anything else you want to attempt to do here? Or maybe go back and tell the others that we're not in Kansas, and I don't know which of you is Toto.
I look at Pike.
Yeah, because it's just the two of us on the flight deck. He just like puts his elbows on like the edges of the flight seat and just starts rubbing his temples.
Yeah, that checks out.
Wescott,
Jesus Christ.
if this is fucked, can you wake them up?
I can put my hands on it. Yeah.
All right.
It's
I
kind
don't
of hard
know.
to keep someone out of something when you can touch it.
Yeah, fair fucking point.
And
I
now
want
I'm
to check the
picturing
sensors.
Now I'm thinking of the diminutive Westcott with a crowbar prying open the sleeping pod.
That's a great way to accidentally kill them. You
Yes,
wanna
I
cycle it
am
off
aware of
first.
that, but that didn't stop the image from popping up in my head.
I do want to check the dropship sensors and see if this docking bay is pressurized, or if we're sitting in 0G right now, or if we're sitting in a vacuum. Sorry.
All indications indicate. Wow, that's a poor choice of words. All indications point to atmosphere, and then as you're trying to figure all that out, in walks Badgeman himself, followed by
Just
two.
like into the hangar.
Yeah, into the hangar, as though approaching your drop ship. He walks in wearing his typical, regular pair of pants, something close to hiking boots, button-up shirt. He's got his stupid badge that doesn't have any markings on it except for one magnetic strip.
Oh, Pike is gonna be so okay. Pike is gonna reach over and flip a toggle for the external speakers.
Yeah.
Say, Neil, it's been so long. Are we allowed to get off this thing?
Give me a half second, because as he's walking up, there's two people with him that are following close behind that are carrying large tech cases. And he says, let's see, let me get to my notes here.
I don't so much think it says something as he makes the fuck no gesture.
Let's see.
This will be the first time anybody else has seen Badgeman.
Exactly. I am literally sitting in the flight seat and I'm just looking up at Pike above me because I'm assuming he's leaning over the seat or the
Like
seat
very
next to me.
casually going, Neil, it's been so long. Just imagining Westcott being like, who the fuck is Neil?
So yeah,
I
he
mean-
comes up towards the drop ship with the two tech guys following him, and the I'm gonna call it the boarding ramp for lack of a better thing to call it, because again, I don't recall specifically what your drop ship is, but it's got to have a ramp because you have your APC on there.
Mhm.
So the and this, everybody will notice that the boarding ramp descends, and he comes up to the foot of it and he says, "Well, as you can see, you're not on the Tam.
As I'm stepping out of the hatch of the flight deck area down to the main area where the ramp's coming down. Like that's how he enters, hears that, and says, "Still got that new ship smell, huh?"
Well, I don't get out much, but you know, we need to keep this ship nice and pretty for obs reasons. He doesn't say, he's not gonna say obs. I said that because I've been memeing it, but for obvious reasons, we have to keep this thing nice and pretty looking.
So it's low mileage.
Yeah, let's go with that.
All right.
Why don't you go ahead and get your team dressed up and head on over to the briefing room? We've got some talking to do.
What about them? He points at the flight crew.
Oh, sorry, that was me going, oh. Let me find my notes so I know exactly what I need to say here.
I did follow Pike, so I am sitting like behind and next to him.
He says that Eckhart and the flight crew apparently are infected with something that they believe is best treated once you guys are all back on solid ground and have better medical facilities. And so for now, Eckhart and the chief will remain in stasis. And then he points to the two people behind him and says, "These guys are just here to do normal post-op maintenance that would normally be done by Eckhart and the crew chief." So he's going to let them have at it. And he's kind of giving you the look of like, I don't need your approval, but, you know, for appearance's sake, this would be much better if you gave me your approval that these two people can do this thing. I can see Kane is. I can't tell if that's Kane stewing right now or if that's Pike stewing right now.
So I will just look at
Pike-
Pike and go,
Pike is
they
stewing
weren't
right
in
now.
exosuits when we came back. It's
Yeah.
probably something from off the APC.
Badge just shrugs. I don't know what to tell you. They're just. Our readings showed something infectious on them. They're going to stay for their safety and ours. They're staying in the stasis pods. And he says it like he's being polite and gentle, but he's also got a little bit of an edge that says, I'm not arguing this. This is the way it's going to be.
Yeah, Pike's new agenda. He's gonna just like look at the pods and look at him and then look at the pods and look at Wescott. Wescott, take these chuckle fucks to the briefing room.
Yes, Staff
I
Sergeant.
have not heard
I
the
go
word
walk
chuckle
right
fuck
over to
in
my
so
chuckle
long.
fucks.
I'm sorry, Rodance. What are you saying?
I go walk over to my chuckle fuck collection, tell them to get set up and get their shit ready to go. We're going to the briefing room.
Yeah, when you
I
go
look at the skivvied up Warren and go, this time put your pants on.
Mhm.
I look at the other two.
Thank you, sir.
Nine.
Badge kind of does, you know, like he steps to one side and lets everybody through. The tech guys go up onto the ship. And then Badge just kind of sits there and waits for Pike. Doesn't say anything. He's kind of feeling like Pike wants to have a one-on-one.
Yeah. I'll like step onto the ramp, let the tech guys past, so I can still see the cryopods, but you know, we've got distance between him and his techs.
Yeah. I don't know what you're going to say, man. All I can say right now really is trust the process.
Oh, he's gonna just look him in the eye. Is this quarantine bullshit to keep them in pods?
I said trust the process.
Yeah, kind of hard to right now. I want to
Understandable.
know that they're okay.
They're fine. For now. As long as they're in those stasis pods, they'll be okay.
Except for this maybe contaminant thing.
He doesn't say anything. He's got a bit of a smile similar to what I have on my face, except not quite as evident. He's trying to play it down a little bit. But also like trying to exude this authority and also confidence and also like not terribly concerned about things. He's like, yeah, let's just let's do this briefing. We'll answer the questions we can, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, so while I'm getting my couple of scrubs getting their shit together,
Mhm.
is there like I'm assuming there's some form of like the equivalent of a data pad or a little tough book shit walking around this flight deck area.
Yeah, I imagine there's something.
Cool. I steal it and then I connect it so I can monitor the pods while we're walking around.
You, in the process of networking it, it comes back with a 404 error. And let me be clear, it's more
Really?
of like a 404K error.
It's more of a fuck you error than it is a you can't touch error.
Uh, it's an error that I can't explain yet without giving away a lot, and that's totally above the table. What you see is can't connect, but there's some different specific reasons or possible solutions that are offered that you wouldn't normally see when it says, like when you get a normal can't connect, it's like check your internet connection and maybe restart the router. This one's like um unable to connect, verify connection, and then it just has like a 401 or 404-K1.
Yeah, I do not accept that as my character would not accept that as an acceptable answer
Sure.
and continue hacking it. She
Unfortunately,
wants to be able to have a data pad that connects to the readout status of the cryopods while they walk out of the dropship.
I understand what you're trying to do, and I'm telling you it's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
But narratively, the effort continues with no
Yeah,
regard.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, narratively,
Mhm.
yeah, it's damn it. Damn it.
So
No, that's not. I don't. My character wouldn't do that. She'd hack it, try to hack it again, look at it, look at the text, and then walk over to Pike.
That sounds better too.
so while you're doing that and then deciding to come back, Pike is just going to look him in the eye and say, "Look, I had every intention next time we visited to talk about uh uh the checkers making it to the other side of the border, some shit. So work with me here.
Hold
Prom
on. Let me finish laughing. Because I took about a half a second for me to pick up what you were trying to show Pike conveying. And now I got to figure out how Badge is going to respond because, of course, he's going to be slightly sarcastic because I'm
Yeah.
very sarcastic.
Pike's still talking. I'm just giving
Yeah.
you I'm pausing for your benefit.
Yeah. He's looking at you. He's like, it. I know the term
Promise
is
me?
not. I know the term is not castling. I forget what exactly it is, but he uses that term, whatever it is.
Promise me that they are okay and we won't have a fucking problem. And I would like to roll manipulation
Sure.
to see if I can get something out of the
Let
rapport
me
we've had. And Pike is clearly like,
see.
Pike is clearly having a fucking problem with this, and he's trying to work with him.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to see who do I have in here that might closely represent what this guy is that could make the what's the opposite of manipulation, or is it just
It's just
It's
manipulation.
another
manipulation.
manipulation manipulating your manipulation?
Mm-hmm.
That was really hard to say with. What is this? So you got one success pushed with a panic roll.
So I have 3 successes, and yeah, Pike is clearly like so concerned about this flight crew. He's on the verge of violence.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to interpret that. And I saw the nervous twitch. I was like, no, that actually that's a really well timed panic roll right there. That makes a lot of sense. Like he is definitely like, if you don't give me this, I might fucking lose my shit. And he is going to respond in a similar manner.
All right, cool. Bad guys normally can't push, so I have 2 successes left. I'd like to spend my extra 6 on I'd like to spend it on your opponent does more than you ask for. For example, giving you some useful piece of information.
Yeah. He He gives you a nod so that, to indicate, at least non-verbally, that he's following what you're saying. He steps down and off of the ramp, and he motions you to come closer to like whispering range.
Yeah.
And then he
Pike
said,
does it.
"Go ahead."
Pike does it.
And he says something to the effect of, "I cannot say anything for protocol reasons. As long as they stay in the stasis pod, okay. Can you give me that?"
He looks at him. He's got that twitch going, and he's like, "I believe you."
Good.
Takes a deep breath. And he takes his deep breath and he looks at him. So there's the very clear, like, I care about these people inappropriately. Like, I give so many fucks about this flight crew.
Yeah.
And how the depth of these fucks.
Yep.
And then he turns and says, "I'll be in the briefing room."
Trying to take too long.
And I guess I'll walk into Wescott.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that point, he will, just to be clear, like, he will turn and head off to the briefing room, following in behind, a minute or two behind the Chucklefuck collection, and then you two will have your brief moment here before you do whatever you're gonna do.
I just flip the data pads, about as useful as a brick right now. They've locked us out of the systems.
Given who these people are, it makes sense that they are very good at their job. I can't tell you who they are. Hopefully this briefing means that they'll tell us who they are.
I just shrug and go, "After you, Staff Sergeant."
Apologies
Can't
if
leave.
you end up hearing my son coughing in the background, by the way.
I to make sure my Marines, are actually going where they're supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
You can feel me staring at the back of your head.
I feel like they
Wally
have,
and Warren and right.
yeah, I feel like they
while
got
we're
there
walking-
ahead of you guys, but
Yes, I'm staring
Yeah.
at the backs of their heads as we're walking up.
okay, gotcha.
Like,
Okay.
with that like diversion, we're probably far enough behind that we can have a quiet conversation behind the rest of the Marines while we're all heading in that way.
Sure.
And he just looks at Wescott and says, "I think we can work with Wright. Wright's not a quitter. Wright's kind of like you."
Before the mental trauma, sorry.
Hey, I mean,
I
even with
guess,
the
like-
mental trauma, like, Wescott still isn't quitting. Wescott
Yeah,
just
yeah.
runs ragged.
Right,
I think-
Wescott is her own perception of. It's kind of funny that the two, like one fire team is on cigarettes, and then like she's depressed, and then we have super soldier brainwashing over here. So
Yeah,
it's kind of like different flavors of fucked up on each stage.
It is.
right. Yeah, I think we can work with Wright. Wright's not a quitter.
Wally just taps on the random wall as we walk by. Bad luck follows that man.
That seems like every opportunity he's had to perform, he's just quit and run.
I just give the head nod. I agree.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of superstition as you don't have to be the fastest, you don't have to be the strongest, you just have to be the luckiest. And you do not want the least lucky person in your squad.
Yeah. Trying to decide whether or not it's worth trying to work with Wally. But I mean, Wally's seen some shit. If we drop Wally from the team, Wally's going to disappear somewhere.
Don't mind me as I change screens while you guys are playing your scene.
Get some sort of quiet assignment somewhere where they probably won't be seen until they can be assessed.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep Wally or do you want me to get rid of him?
I just shake my head going, he just doesn't fit well.
All right. It would make it to like
and Wally just randomly rolling a panic roll. Somehow I feel like that's totally appropriate.
Wait. Did I click that by accident?
You must
I was
have.
opening his
Did.
sheet and looking at it.
You must have.
Oh, yeah, I opened it and I was scrolling to the bottom of his sheet, and apparently the stress button is like right there in the way of the scroll. So yeah, his claustrophobia is definitely kicking in. And so he is probably jumpy as fuck.
For some reason, Pike's icon has a thing on it.
because I have a panic condition.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Can I
He
do
shouldn't
the
have
calm
panic.
Pike down?
Well, no, he shouldn't have a panic condition on there.
Well, I should
Oh,
calm
yeah,
him down as we're walking.
yeah. Well, that twitch only lasts for like one round, if I remember right.
I know. But
I mean,
thematically, talking
it-
to him is what's calming him down.
Sure. No, that makes
Yeah.
absolutely perfect sense narratively.
but it does mean that Wescott got a point. Or no, not Wescott. Nobody was. It was really just Badgeman who was near me, and he doesn't
Yep,
take
and
stress,
Badgeman
so-
doesn't stress because he's an NPC.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, because I
Okay.
think he's cool.
Yeah, Pike on this, like, as we're like entering the briefing room, he'll pull out his flask and he'll just sort of look at it, think about how things have changed for him, and then take a swig, screw it on, put it in his pocket, and he'll signature item.
And that reduces the point of stress or something, right?
Yep.
That's what I thought. Okay. We're gonna take a very brief respite, hopefully, because I don't want to continue without Luke, who had to step away for half a second, I think. So we'll give him a moment. I definitely wrote this episode, or this segment, whatever you want to call it, with the intent of fucking with the players a little bit. Just a little bit. All right, Luke's back, so we can go ahead and continue. Okay. As you...
Sorry.
Huh?
Sorry.
Oh, no worries. You're good. You're good. As you enter the briefing room and, grab drinks and seats or, whatever it is you're going to do, Badge is sitting there, or not sitting there, he's standing there near, like, the display board or the digital chalkboard, whatever the case might be, the monitors. He's waiting. And once everything and everyone seems to be in position, he does a very conspicuous nod towards one wall. Anybody want to make a observation roll really quick? No requirement.
Yes.
Wait for that roll. Okay. That's one. Anybody else?
Yeah.
That's two. Anybody else?
Are they coming at me?
Yes, they are.
Oh no.
Anybody else? Okay, well, Wescott's in a bit of a depressed state, so she probably just doesn't give a shit.
Wally's over there freaking out. Like he's still got the jitters
Oh,
because
yeah.
he doesn't like being in enclosed rooms.
Oh,
What
yeah.
you
He's going through
notice,
grading space.
what you noticed is that over off to the one side, the one wall does indeed have a small camera recording everything. It's obvious that it's not a big obvious camera, but it's also not stealthy, is what I'm trying to get at, which is why it only took a single success to get it. Wescott, you probably just don't notice. You either notice or you just don't care.
Oh, I notice, but I
yeah.
don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
I
exactly.
assume this is enemy territory all the way through.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, if you want to take it that way, that's even better. But yeah, so Badge nods towards the one wall that has the camera on it, and then he turns to face you guys. And basically, I'm going to summarize a little bit, but you guys can expand as needed. In short, he says that there's a lot going on behind the scenes that you were not aware of at the Sonderdatch mine. But for what you yourselves were aware of and what you experienced, he wants to know that so he can compile that information with what he already has into a single cohesive report for his boss. When he says his boss, he looks directly at Pike, because Pike should know exactly who he works for.
He makes that significant glance at
Yes.
Pike, and Pike turns to the rest of the group and says, "He's authorized to have the info. Give it."
I look at Pike.
Go ahead.
I just look at Pike and raise an eyebrow and go, Cameras too.
I think at that moment, Badge, you see like I'm not gonna make you do an observation roll. I'll let you decide if you see it or not. There is a moment of internal debate on Badge's face. It's only there for like a very brief second. And then he says, all right, I'm going to tell you something I wasn't supposed to tell you. And then he looks at the camera, and yes, I know they can hear me. I work for somebody significantly much higher up than General Vaughn and Colonel Arnold. So whatever information you have regarding the Sunderdatch mine will be indeed added to the information I already have collected to be passed up the chain of command. The individual or individuals that I work for, I'm not going to disclose, but they are much higher than your chain of command.
I get that this is fishy, Wescott, and believe me, this relationship did not start off great. But I'm vouching for him. He's telling the truth.
All the cut too. All the cut footage too.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back to the drop shoot.
Well, let's just.
That won't be. Yeah, I think he takes. It takes him a second to realize that
it's hardware recordings. I have to go pull the plug out of the APC to get it.
Yep.
Like it's on the APC.
The techs are going to take what they can find. You can fill in the gaps afterwards, but for now, at least, we're just going to go down the line and give personal accountings.
Sabotage the systems, so the techs ain't getting shit unless they're better hackers than Wescott is. Wescott purposely hid and buried this stuff while they were in there because of reasons.
Yeah.
He's like, look, let's start with Warren. Just give your personal accounting. When this is all over, if your techs had any trouble, Wescott will be more than willing to fill in the gaps.
I think we get a moment while you guys are doing this little bit of back and forth. I think there's a moment where the Badge, he's just kind of standing there leaning back against the wall, and there's a bit of a smirk on his face. And you could read that however you want to read it. It's just like,
I just turn and give Badge Man the
guys.
most deadpan look and just shrug and look, continue staring at him dead in the eyes.
Hey, look, he's confident in his guys, and I'm confident in mine.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so.
But I tell Warren to start so we can give our personal accountings of the mission.
Yep. So at this point, I should point out that I meant to mention that Badge has been carrying around a clipboard with a bunch of paper on it. But I forgot to mention that. Yeah, I like the idea of people with clipboards, okay? He'll be fine.
Does he have the normal clipboard or the one that opens up and it's like a little case and then
you know what? He has the case. It's Colonel Arnold that has the old school analog clipboard. He's got the more updated, modernized version.
Uh-huh.
Well, he's more important than Colonel Arnold, but I won't get into all the particulars yet. So I will ask a couple questions, and then you guys can give me a little bit of an answer. We'll do this kind of like a recap for the whole mission. Motherfuck!
What happened?
Another person. Hey, buy freaking views or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
I am literally 1 for 1 every stream since we resumed streaming a couple weeks ago. That I've had to ban somebody.
It's almost like bots are trained to do that.
Well, I wouldn't use the word trained, but yes. I digress. So what I want to do, I'm going to ask a question. You guys give me a couple of sentences as an answer. We'll count that as the debrief. Any particular specific questions or specific details, we'll get into it as we need to. But basically consider this like his questioning and you guys responding as needed. First, what were your guys' mission parameters from your pre-briefing? What was your intent going into the Sunderdatch mine?
Rescue miners first.
Okay.
Limit damage to the mine second. Try to save the mine third. See if we could locate a missing Marine team, but our orders were specifically if we found them not to help them with their mission.
Okay, does anybody have anything they want to add?
Let me see.
Also, I apologize now if I
I'm
sound like I'm
having
either
to scroll through a lot
condescending
of pages.
I'm sorry?
Okay, yeah. Support the local, resume the operations, provide support, and find out what happened. Seal off, potentially with sub options of sealing off gas pocket, reinforcing structures, stabilizing, saving lives. Yeah, that's what my notes on that day is.
Luke, is there anything you want to add from either of your characters?
No, that's pretty much the whole notes for what we were supposed to do. What we ended up doing was kind of different.
Yes, and that is
Yeah,
actually the next
imagine-
question.
Imagine we're reiterating that we were supposed to save people, and Wright's just like slow turn, like the fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Well, this is the part of the debriefing that's going to get very interesting. So that was what you were supposed to do. Now tell me what did happen from start to finish.
Somebody else want to go first with their counting?
Yeah, because Pike is trying to, or not Pike, Kane is trying to stuff his face. I imagine Pike might be munching on a donut or something.
We'll go bottom up this time. So Wright goes, well, I guess the first thing that we ended up doing was going to the bottom level, finding some people, sending them up, I guess, and then after that, everything went absolutely to hell.
And then Warren is like, that's not exactly how that went down. Here's what really happened.
We make the junior people speak first so they're not upsetted.
So
by
they're
the
not
senior people.
unincluded.
Well, they won't speak against us. We have them speak first.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That makes sense. Somebody's been in a staff meeting before.
That's standard power plays, man. But in any case, Wally would be the he goes through, it's like, yeah, we went in. We hit the drop landing pad. There was others people there. The miners were kind of unruly. We go into a built office looking building. They talk to some folks. And then we go down. And then we find somebody who's covered in black goo with a human thigh bone trying to wail on us. And it just goes downhill from there.
Okay. Who else has something to add to what transpired? I love how both the new boots are like, well, it started all sunshine and rainbows, but it quickly turned into a thunderstorm of fuck and hate. And got worse from there.
Yeah.
Warren.
Wescott will look at Warren and kind of do the you talk first gesture.
All right, so pretty much business as usual. We got down onto the planet, went into the landing zone, saw a lot of people there. We went into this area, the special building with Chris, I want to say his name was. I don't know.
Ken.
He seemed
Ishikawa,
Ken.
Like
Chris Izagora. Whatever.
I love it. Or it's like, I don't know, Ken, Chris, Christner, I don't know, Ishikawa or something or other.
Yeah. He seemed like a robot, but it's fine. So we went into the mines. Once we got into the mines, we saw a combatant holding on to another combatant's leg bone, I guess. We engaged after a cave-in. We engaged with some other combatants that were trying to do certain things involving a holy ritual of some sort. After that, several other combatants that we had to make sure they were properly lit up so that we would be able to see the enemies, and then we saw the other Marines. I don't know what happened to them.
He doesn't. He has no idea.
I absolutely love his description. So we ran into a combatant, then there was a cave-in. We saw more combatants doing what looked like some unholy shit, and then more combatants that we had to make sure there was plenty of light by which to see them, i.e. we burnt the fuck out of them. And then lastly, some other combatants, but we let them go. I don't know what happened to them. I'm dying over here.
I liberally applied illumination strategies for the rest of the team.
Oh man, no wonder Canada has a war crime history. Everybody suddenly is a combatant. That's an easy way to solve all our problems.
It's not a joke. I mean, in World War II, I know World War One, we threw peach cans with grenades in them.
Yeah.
Like we would just throw cans of like peaches, and people would be like, "Oh, thank you, Canadians, or whatever. We're really hungry actually on this side. It really sucks." And then a couple
Dude.
other grenade ones would come up and then explode them.
All right.
Yeah.
Who else wants to add on or expand?
Wescott will give the most dry play-by-play possible, including all the
Easy.
information we gathered that we hid from the others,
Okay.
including the fact that the blackguards went down and then we promptly blew up the basement on them.
Congratulations, other three. You just found out we killed Marines.
Oh, I do it in the most dry, you're dying by death by PowerPoint kind of way.
Oh, that's amazing. I think at some point you just hear.
I literally step by step everything we did, and I probably take 5 times as long as the other 3 combined.
And then
Yeah, they
I
need
know
an
there was one
observation
at
rule to
least
remember.
one point where Pike absolutely war crimed someone. I don't remember exactly what it was.
I shot the unconscious miner.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one that Wright took out with the stun baton, and I just coup de
Yeah.
grace them while they were
Oh,
unconscious.
yeah.
I mean, I killed the people with the turret upstairs too.
Yes.
Oh, that's a war crime.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
there was a handful of them. There was
Oh
definitely.
yeah, Pike and I did.
There was
lots
a
of war
couple of.
crimes.
There was absolutely a couple of no shit war crimes, and then there were a handful of others that were very questionable about the legalities on.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I straight up murdered a lot of people.
Yeah.
I wonder what Winston would have done in the mission like this.
I'm pretty sure the more I talk, the more horrified the 2 newbies are, because I went.
There was some. Yeah, a lot of that stuff they didn't know about
because they didn't know, and
Yeah.
we didn't tell them.
Yeah, there's stuff up on the surface they didn't know about either. Pike, what do you have to add to this before I move on to the next question?
So Pike, but we arrived, contacted Ken. He asked for support in securing his landing zone, so we did. We went into the mine. We coordinated with Ken to try to rescue miners as our primary objective. He went from the top, we went in from the bottom. We did rescue a group. We did, before going down into the mine, we did also try to talk to their resident toaster, who was about as helpful as a toaster can be. We went down, we found that first group, we sent them up. We ran into a contaminated individual, hyper aggressive. We put him down. There was a collapse, and the same contaminant that we noticed in the aggressive person was like a whole pool of it. And it seemed like a group of people were trying to religiously expose people to this contaminant, so we stopped their ritual permanently. And given the previous missions that we've had and what we know now, I decided that we were going to deny that pool as an asset.
When you bring that up and point that out, Badge kind of does one of those, like, he's mid-writing, like in the middle of a sentence that he's writing his notes, and he stops and he looks up at you and he's like, tell me more about this previous mission that led you to make this decision now.
Well, I'm going to answer your question, but just so that I understand how much detail I need to go in, do you have access to our previous mission reports?
I believe I have intimated as much previously, but yes, I do.
Cool. So I've come to the conclusion that a lot of what we've been doing is fetching. And if these fetches and their uses are not in the best interests of the United Americas, then I decided to deny those assets to the continuation of that problem.
See. Scribble. Oh, please continue.
I deposited all of my excess explosives so we could do that asset denial. Scott rigged it up. We went up a floor. A group of hostile miners tried to kill us. We killed them back. Wasn't sure if that a level of aggression was. I mean, they said Marines killed some of their number, but I didn't know if their unreasonable aggression was due to infection. So we took a quarantine position on that. We did run into those Marines. They were committed to going down. There's only one thing that was down there, was that goop. So I figure we were a distraction team so they could do their infill, get those samples, and then leave. So I ordered their deaths.
He looks up for a brief moment and then resumes taking notes. Anything else you want to add?
Well, somebody or something, I don't know who, but somebody bombarded the surface, tried to drop a mine on us to kill us too, I guess. But you know, no fucking falling mine's gonna kill my team. So we dragged ass out of that mine, got picked up. I don't know how or why. I haven't really had that conversation, but somehow, luckily, our flight crew managed to stay local enough and made the decision to continue to stay on station despite the fact that we lost consciousness for almost 2 hours during that collapse. So, or 3 hours, whatever it was. So, I would like to formally make the request after your information gathering is over, if we could get medical attention to see if any of us have suffered some brain damage from that unconsciousness.
I think there's a playful smirk on Badge's face at that moment. And he's like, "You're Marines, of course." But he says that under his breath, and obviously, like, he means this as a joke. Obviously, everybody can take it however they want, but he clearly meant it as a joke. This is not, anybody in the military would have been like, "Yeah, we've heard that one before."
Yeah. Pike looks at him and smiles and says, "Look, I need to know that between missions, I can still identify my favorite crayon color. All right."
He points at a red button on the wall. He's like, "What color is that?"
Green.
He heard you.
Like, I don't know.
Listen, I'm literally raising a mini me, okay?
Yeah.
Glorious.
I mean, he looks over at the button and says, "I'm not sure unless this is a controlled test from a medical professional if this will be a valid result to test my brain damage."
Well, since you put that many words together in a single sentence, I think you're fine. And then he goes back to taking his notes.
I just want to bring up for your review that I find that out time incredible. Like, I've knocked people out. I've knocked plenty of people out. I've choked people out. I've watched people get blown up and then wake up afterwards from the blast. I've seen lots of loss of consciousness. The only time I've seen loss of consciousness anywhere near this long was gas. So I don't know if that was an interaction with the mine or somebody gassed us.
Could
I don't
be
know.
any number of things. I'm not a doctor either, but we'll figure that out shortly. What can you tell me about what you saw while you were in the mines, and who your main opposition and any additional opposition you encountered might have been?
Major parties we interacted with, the other Marine team.
But they weren't Marines, they were Blackguard, correct? Oh, they were Marines, yes, but specifically Blackguard.
They were still Marines, even
Right.
if I had to kill them.
I think my question was more of, they were Blackguard, obviously they were Marines.
Yeah. I don't think they showed up in that mine intending for us to have any antagonistic interaction. But given the nature of the missions we've been on and some of the things that have happened to us, I think it was certainly in their profile to deal with us if we did not outwardly cooperate with them. Crazy miners just being assholes, but we don't know how many of them were infected, and we know that whatever that goop is, it seemed to do something to their bodies and increase their aggression, loss of control. So the goo seemed to do something to people. And he'll describe like the
The black eyes, the black veins,
Yeah,
the
the
ripping limbs
distorted,
off.
the distorted body, the strength, the durability.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, bullets work, fire works, but it still took more of both to kill them than a miner should. Um, the religious ceremony. I mean, intentionally exposing people to be out of control monsters definitely made them an antagonistic group, but their leader, when they were dipping somebody in this material, had almost a religious quality to their description, talking about making them like angels of destruction or some shit.
I've heard of similar things before. I'll talk about that later.
Some sort of fucked cult, but they already knew what the stuff was, so that's a fucking problem. Ken Ishikawa did not seem to be, he didn't have any idea what was going on. If he's still alive, which I kind of hope he is, he was just a good dude trying to save lives. He tried to work, he did his best to work within the constraints I gave him, and we tried to save lives. I don't know what happened to him though. Last I saw, he had to deal with a riot of people who were upset because they were afraid we were going to kill him.
Well, unfortunately, to our knowledge thus far, you are the only people to have survived. Nobody else has survived.
Hmm.
Nobody.
Rip.
To be more accurate, nobody else has been recovered to date.
Rip.
Pike's like, yeah, that checks out.
The toaster was very, well, I mean, it was just like a fucking piece of hardware. It was very much like, this is the company line. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be very unhelpful because you were not whatever. I don't fucking know. And I don't know who bombarded the surface. And when I tried to talk to our flight team, they didn't know either.
It would appear
least
that
they
there
didn't
was
tell me.
minimal sensor data collected, if any at all, on anybody that could have made that attack run. But it
Whoever
does
it
look like
was,
aerial bombardment of some sort.
but given the damage, it almost looked like it was orbital.
Entirely possible. And a shame that, unless my tech team can find something, that your ship wasn't able to pick up anything.
Well, hopefully your techs can. The APC
I
didn't
just am
take
sitting
any.
there going, thumbs, because I fucked with the APC so people can't get into it like that.
So our APC didn't take any direct hits from the bombardment, but it was on the surface the whole time. So if we're lucky, it might have seen something, or even if it was just, frames of munition, like something to help ID who did it.
Well, if it has the information, we'll find it. And he looks directly at Wescott when he says that.
I look at him. I stare at him, and then I just turn to Pike and go, "Are we discussing anything we found before the mission?"
I was only asking about this mission.
And
Oh.
I just go back to deadpan looking at him.
Talk to me about, well, before I move on, is there anybody else that wants to add anything to your opposition that you encountered? Anything that you saw while you were in the mines? Basically, he's asking the same question and wanting to see if anybody else has anything they want to add.
Nah. No, my two would not have any comments on that.
Does anybody try to describe Pike as opposition?
Okay. Talk to me about the exfiltration of your team.
That was included in Westcott's earlier bullet point death explanation in the driest, most boring descriptions possible.
Yes, climbing from the bottom of the elevator, slamming or
I
swinging like
step by
Tarzan.
step explained every step we did in the most
the
boring
dry
way
explanation
possible.
of the Pikeavator is hilarious to me.
Yes.
The totally humorless clinical description of the Pikeavator has got to be
That's
hilarious.
Oh man, I almost wish we could actually pull that off just so we could try to clip that. All right, well in that case, I think what he'll do at that point is he will set his clipboard down. He will grab a chair, kind of sit down as well, and he will explain a few things, and I have some bullet points I'm going to share with you.
Is he gonna sit with the chair back in
Oh yeah,
front so he can rap with
absolutely. He's gonna
us?
do the cool guy seat too. He may
Oh,
even do
yeah.
a Riker maneuver in taking down that seat.
Spin the chair as
Yeah.
as he
As he has his leg
swings
over
his
it.
leg over it.
Yep. These are the things that he does know regarding your mission. There was indeed a Blackguard unit that went into the mine prior to your team's arrival, after the initial call for help was sent by the mine itself. So, incident at the mine, call for help goes out. At some point later, Blackguard team arrives and goes in, and then later yet, your team arrives. They apparently had orders to secure and recover something. Badge assumes it was the urns with that black goo that you guys saw below. Well, let me rephrase that. He assumes it was the urns. Jesus Christ. He assumes it was urns filled with the black goo that he has seen elsewhere. And this isn't the only time that you guys have encountered the black goo either, if you will recall. The first team ran into something that they alone couldn't handle, and so a second team was called in, and Badge is confident that this was the team that Pike allowed to move deeper into the mine before dropping the mine on them. And of course, we had that moment of, I will get you with this life for the next moment, and then he dies because rocks in his face. The mine's manager director is believed to have been a plant for Deep Void.
That name does not surprise Wescott at all.
That's why I did that dramatic pause right there.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see if the players recognized it. And when Badge is saying this, he notices that you have encountered that term before. So there's the facial expression of filing that mental note away. And then he continues and he says, she, being the mine manager director, is believed to have gone after something down in the deepest parts of the mine once the incident started, and is believed to have perished while down there. Regarding Deep Void, Ms. Wescott?
I just give him the deadpan look and a faint smile. Oh, I look at him and then I give a faint smile and then I wipe the expression off again.
Would you, and he has his ever-present smirk, would you like to share with the rest of the class?
Are we discussing prior to this most recent mission?
Do you want me to answer that, or do you need your staff sergeant to loosen the jaws?
I turn and I just raise an eyebrow at Pike.
Look, us finding out about Black Void is why I'm ensuring the compliance of my team right now.
Are you aware of what and possibly who Deep Void is?
Before we went on the most recent mission, we went perusing through the records. General Vaughn has a wildly inappropriate amount of access into the reports that we have submitted, and her name has been used an awful lot to access the records, to the point of that I was able to hack in and just disguise my access as her own name, which makes me think someone else has been doing that also. Then they had self-deleting protocols, mentions of Deep Void, and the fact that that it was reported that the UA ourselves nuked our prior mission facility.
So, and you are aware, of course, that it was actually the UPP that nuked that facility in an effort to shut it down because of loss of containment.
That was what was reported to us by direct witnesses on the surface.
But that also...
But someone submitted a countering report.
Yes.
I
The
think at this
initial
point,
report...
right,
Mr. Company Man, who was accompanying us on it.
Yes, indicating that it was the... excuse me. It was the... Shit, now I'm getting myself confused.
I have notes back since the first session we played.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. So the actual line of events was that it was the UA the United Americas that nuked the facility.
Mhm.
It was reported to you guys that the UPP nuked it to contain it, but it was the UPP people on site that said no, the UAs or US, whatever the fucking Americas are called,
Yeah. He
that
told
And
they
they
were the
us,
ones
probably
that
got
actually did it to
murdered.
make it
Yeah.
look like the UPP did it in order to start some sort of bullshit beef.
right. And the report that we have was from the mission specialist who said that we heard it, but in his opinion, none of us believed it.
Right. He
And
was trying to downplay and toe the party line, for lack of a better thing to call it. He was trying to downplay the seriousness or whatever that you guys had.
yeah, he was supporting us because we supported him. So, they're loyal, they didn't do anything wrong.
UPP
They don't
drop
believe
an
anything
ox
wrong.
and
They're
it
all
gets
good.
blown up by a Steiner Scout Lance. That's amazing.
That's a note from a session we had back in June.
Uh, is that the one on the island with the
That was on Pandora.
yeah, the fight that was going on for the whole time you guys were there, the starport facility? Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
they're scouring the new hires because they're like, what's going on with this?
Yeah.
That's the
the
one where
history here.
Winston goes down the serial killer path and then promptly dies, like the next session.
Yeah, well, the next mission anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I think he's the only one who
That was the
actually heard
session
about-
before we took out the Mecha Marine who went psycho on our asses.
yes, the Berserker.
Yeah, but Winston also heard about Deep Void and the other name during
Where
the
did
first
it-
mission.
So this is obviously out of character because Warren wouldn't know that.
No, Winston.
That's what I'm saying. Warren wouldn't know that Winston knew that.
No, but like that would be like a Winston would have been like, oh my god, a thing.
Yeah, yeah. So at this point, as the
So that
Go ahead.
description, she talks about the stuff that we have connecting, the stuff that we've learned connecting General Vaughn and like the mission specialists and stuff to Deep Void. In his totally cold way, Pike looks at him and says, "I have a follow-up question."
Go ahead.
And he leans forward and points at the new guys. Are they General Vaughn's?
You get a look of like, what? No. And he chuckles a little bit. He's like, no, not that I could tell anyway. Those are, they're regular ass Marines as far as I know.
You run backgrounds in their assignments to know that they're just unfortunate and not plants.
I have no reason to believe that anybody has planted them on your team for reasons. I couldn't think of the right adjective I wanted to use.
Now
But
I'm
yeah.
upset that I didn't create a plant. I wanted to.
I know. Like I'm actually thinking, like, that actually would have been really cool.
I'm purposely. I'm pretty sure that's why Wally has such bad luck.
No, I think it's even more entertaining at this point right now that neither of them are plants and Wally just absolutely sucks.
So
Yeah.
Pike leans back. It says,
Was that supposed to be like Soto Voce or something? Subtle voice, soft voice.
No, he asked that just like out loud in front of the two
Okay.
of them. Like
Yeah.
he leans back in his chair and says, "All right, well that's one less reason."
Only Pike knows.
One second, guys. Kids going to bed.
Hmm.
At this point,
Wescott has slowly been aligning to Pike's wavelength, so she also looks at them and then just shrugs and looks back at Batman.
I picture it's like, yeah. It's also at this point that Badge says the problem with Deep Void is there is a lot of information, a lot of accusation, a lot of countering and double countering information that we haven't been able to sift through to get an accurate line. So far, Wayland Yutani, let me rephrase that. And this is him
The
saying
company.
that, by the way, not me. He's like, no, I can't say the whole company, but what he does end up changing his mind to is elements of Wayland Yutani, elements of various other companies, other organizations, other governmental agencies in and outside of the United Americas all appear to have some form of connection to Deep Void. The problem is we're not getting solid vetted information as to who is and who is not. Deep Void appears to be a wide-ranging, subtle secret organization. And somewhere in that nebulous cloud is General Vaughn. Again, we can't confirm that. So the information you have at this time, your own experiences even, I would be remiss if I didn't say something like, keep your mouth shut. I mean, when he says that, he's obviously looking at each of you in turn, but he especially lingers over Wally and Wright because they are the newest members of the team.
Okay, so set scene here. What all is in this briefing room that's not like attached to a wall or a floor?
That
I
is-
just hand Pike a data pad.
Most of us.
The one that I said was a brick.
Yeah, other than the people in the room. I suppose it is Pike. I should specify.
So
that,
you're
right?
so I guess for my sake, what exactly are you asking for here?
Pike is going to get mad and take it out on something.
Oh, there's plenty of like anything in the normal briefing room. Like
Oh
just
no, I
picture-
purposely hand Pike the traitorous data pad that wouldn't let me check the sensors of the cryopods.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can take that. Or there's plenty of other
Mm.
things. Like there's coffee pots, there's carafes, there's glasses, there's dishes, there's chairs.
Okay, because this is a briefing room, right?
Yeah, you're
So
in the
Pike-
briefing room. Like just imagine like in Aliens,
So-
the briefing room they were in.
So like the blood vessel starts popping in his forehead. Wescott hands him the pad, and he just like he takes it in one hand and he crushes it against his forehead and throws it, and then he walks over to the podium and picks it up and just like Hulk smashes it on the ground. And then he just turns and looks at Badge Man and says, "That's a huge fucking cancer."
He's
I'm just
looking
sitting
at when
here
you say
drinking my
that.
coffee.
Yeah, when you say that, he's just looking at you like that would appear that's not the only cancer in this room. Are you okay?
That was me getting okay.
Okay, next time maybe just a small heads up so I can make sure I'm not in range. As he brushes some not really there debris off of one shoulder. Because again, I'm playing him as a bit of a smartass right now.
I just snort
He's
and go.
for the record, he's in his element right now. This is what he does. You never see this before, but this is what he does.
Yeah.
So he's
Is
king of the world
there-
right now.
Is there some sort of plan to cut this fucking cancer out?
Not yet. I need to keep you guys confined to Marine country while I compile this information with the rest of mine and put together some sort of action plan. 24
God.
hours?
God damn it, Liam. You know I can't sit fucking still with a problem like
Liam.
this.
I was like, wait a minute, who the fuck is... Oh, he's talking about Batman again.
So you're
Uh,
gonna lay all of this on us and then have me sit and fucking spin for 24 hours.
Listen, even a gun can't be fired at a target if there is no target.
Okay.
And he gives you a cup of coffee, and I almost said a corpse starch bar, but like some sort of ration candy bar, like, you know, oatmeal cookie dust bar, the old school MRE cookie. And he's like, but here, gnaw on this for a little bit and calm the fuck down. Any other
I'm
questions from anybody?
Oh, has your tech marines come back to complain yet?
I
Has
will
your
let you
techs
know.
come to complain?
I will let you know if they need to. What's the word I'm looking for? I will let you know if they need assistance to get into the information on your APC. Oh,
Well,
by the
I
way, they
mean-
know that the information they really want is on the APC.
You mean the one that I've had in my personal control for a very extended period of time, to the point where I can use it to hack and hide the full-on control camera suite? That APC.
He does one of these. He makes this. I want to explain this. He makes a motion that is exaggerated. Like he slows it down and he's like, "Is it in your control?"
Hey, look, as I told
No,
Pike
please.
earlier,
Look at your. Uh-oh, we lost Kane. Please look at your remote control interface.
Yeah.
Please.
I'm just saying. Yeah, you have it sitting here. I already
Have you
offered
seen a
to go back and unlock
404K
shit.
error yet?
Yeah, no, you mean the one that Pike smashed against his face and turned into equipment dust?
Oh,
That
so
one?
you've met Karen then.
No, literally, I handed the data pad to Pike,
You've
and the
met
first thing he
Karen,
did
my
was
mother
he
replacement
smashed it
program.
into yeah, the standby orders lady. Yeah.
She's a little bit more than what you might, but this is really weird. I'm looking at my stream because I'm looking at OBS and it has my face like right here is the damn line from the frames because Kane disappeared. It's kind of fucking with my head a little bit. He chuckles a little bit and then he says, Karen is what we use to supersede your ship's control to make sure your ship docked here once you arrived. So we have the information. I must say it was a really good bit of work that you did to hide it. But
Oh,
we
I'm
have
sure
it.
you guys picked it up before you even woke us up. But still.
No. He taps his ear. He's like, no, I've got a live feed. They're looking through it right now, and it took them a little bit. You should have heard some of the things they said as they were digging this out. He's trying to compliment you without making it look like he's giving you a compliment. So, unfortunately, you're like all mentally checked out for the day, so you're not gonna pick up on it.
Oh no, she would get it, and it's like, you could have just asked her the password, Jesus.
He's like, yeah, but then my tech guys would have had no way to show off their abilities. He's not going to say that because this conversation's not actually happening at this point, I think. While we wait for Kane to see if he can make it back. Oh, I totally forgot to hit the live now thing in Discord. Whoops. Because I was just looking at Discord to see if he said anything as to his disappearance. We'll give him a few minutes and hopefully we can continue without him. Or, it's not what I meant to say. Hold on, let me think about how I want to phrase that. Give him a few more minutes to see if he makes it back. Otherwise, we may have to end because I don't want to continue without him. But you guys
we
have...
can't shit talk Badge Man without Pike being present.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does feel weird, doesn't it? It's like fucking with somebody else's NPC.
Yeah.
On that note, you guys do have 24 hours. You are effectively restricted to the dropship, the hangar deck, and the what would otherwise be your guys' space on the Tambatam. The marine country, basically. Welcome back, Kane.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
more of the Taba 2.
I lost power.
Oh, like.
Well, you made it back in,
legit?
so that's a good sign.
Like suddenly into the darkness. Trying to remember where I put my phone so I could turn my fucking flashlight on. Total power outage.
When you say into the darkness, are we like Call of Cthulhu darkness? Hello, my old friend? Like, I've been watching a lot of Call of Cthulhu plays lately. Or Let's Plays, I should say.
It says something about like the amount of long-lasting damage in my brain that when the power just suddenly went out, the first thing I went for wasn't my phone; it was the weapon near my desk.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do, man. That's all I can say.
So
He
anyways,
pulls up a saber.
I have returned. Did I miss anything important?
I want to see.
Mostly me shit talking his IT people.
Oh yes, and
Okay.
then the other reveal there was that Karen is a mother replacement program that they use to effectively hack your ship as it made its final approach to get it to dock, and part of what they used to get into the APC's computers, pull out everything that you guys were hiding. And then I was explaining that you guys basically have 24 hours of downtime.
On the ship.
On the ship, you're restricted to marine country only and your ship, your drop ship.
Let the surviving begin.
Is is the flight crew going to receive a similar briefing when it is deemed safe or not for them? When medical has given their pass if they're going to get one.
And this is a question you're asking in character, yes?
Yeah, like he's trying to be very much like the excuse given was the potential, like, was
Yeah.
the quarantine. So he's trying to be like, if they pass quarantine, are they going to get a similar briefing to this?
They will be brought up to speed.
Okay. Lieutenant Eckhart has reviewed some of our mission profiles, so.
I am curious to see what she has to say.
Oh, and I totally forgot to do it, but he probably would have started with Lieutenant Eckhart.
Amazing. And it's even more entertaining because there are now 2 Karens. Wait, is that? No, is it Karen?
Yes,
It is Karen,
Eckhart.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. There are now 2
Yeah.
Karens.
Yeah, but only one of them matters.
Yeah, well, that depends on
Mm.
who it matters for.
Look, we know Mr. Badgeman has his girlfriend computer. We just gonna let him have it, okay?
Eh. All right. You are confined to your specific areas. The Marine barracks, Marine mess, Marine hangars, and obviously your dropship and APC. If and when you return to your dropship and the APC, it almost looks as though that nothing happened. Whatever the tech teams did, they cleaned up really well behind themselves before leaving. But there are signs, of
Done us
course.
the courtesy of assigning some peons to scrub the inside and outside of the dropship and the APC to make sure we're not cross-contaminating everything.
I feel like you guys would have done some of that to some extent at least, if not to as best you could in that situation. I feel like you guys would have done that before you brought the dropship on board. If not, Eckhart would have been like, no, that thing needs to be sprayed down before it goes onto my dropship. The crew chief would have been like, fuck no. Get you some damn hot soapy water and get that shit off of there.
And what? In the vacuum on the moon, where it was scattered in the air, aerosolized in little crystal dots everywhere? That moon?
Listen, let me tell you something about military thoughts on cleaning up any sort of pollution or contamination. Hot soapy water fixes everything.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it's
Problems with your suspension? Hot soapy water.
yeah. Listen, not for
Look,
nothing.
look,
When it
I'm
comes to
just saying-
radiation and cleaning it up, water really does a
Badgeman?
lot of work for you.
And Eckhart had the exact same rate of infection chances. Just saying. Well, and so did we, because we took our suits off to walk around on the inside of the dropship.
So once we go down to Marine country and have start our confinement, I would send to Badgeman like a request to speak with the flight crew if they pass quarantine after their briefing and their confinement begins. And I would also request a medical evaluation for my whole team.
Okay. I think you get an answer back. It's almost you I'm gonna be honest, you almost got a smiley face emoticon.
And he
But he
phrased it in a
sends
way
back
like,
a message. Hold on. So he sends back a message. He says, "Just trust the process and trust me, damn it." And there was not a smiley face thrown in there with it, but there almost was. I think what we see is the camera cuts from you sending your message. The camera cuts to him typing it out and we see it being typed on the screen. And he puts the smiley face on there, and then we hear backspace twice, and then he hits send, and then we see you receiving that message.
like in his specific wording, he wasn't trying to get us out of Marine country. Like when he was asking for the medical review, he was requesting that medics be sent to us to do a review and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like he's very much like, I'm in lockdown. I know I'm in lockdown. I'm not trying to get out of lockdown.
Yeah. I think, and I think the message he's trying to convey to you, and you can decide if Pike is getting it, is just that like, I hear you. Be patient. Sit tight. I got you. Just give it time.
Yeah. He knows that's what he's getting. Pike's just not. He's
not good at sitting still.
He's been chemically, genetically, he's been biologically altered to be an impatient murder machine. He's trying really hard to be patient, and he's having a really hard time with it.
Yeah, I think like 20 or 30 minutes later, you get another message. He's like, "Just do some calisthenics, man."
Yeah. So the way it works is
He gets a response that just says Raj. And like
Not even RGR, it's just ROG.
it's just ROG. And like we don't like on the map here, right? Like there's no gym.
Yeah.
Right. Like I imagine that for like a lot of that sort of calisthenic stuff, we probably do it in the hangar because it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
large open space.
Yeah.
Do we still have access to the hangar?
Yeah. You're confined to effectively this map that we have up on right now, and then also the hangar deck.
Okay. He's gonna go find stuff. He's gonna go find like heavy crates or something, and he's just gonna be picking heavy things up and putting them down and trying to make himself tired.
So a couple things I want to point out while you're doing that, like in direct response to that, every now and again, some tech or some crew chief or somebody comes around, and as you're trying to move some heavy boxes, he just comes up casually, not confrontationally, but just casually, politely even. He's like, please try not to scuff the floor and make sure you put it back where you got it from and secured. Because as you'll notice, like every time you go to pick up a new crate, it's ratchet strapped or some version thereof strapped in place.
Like he'll be like he'll get that and he's like mid lift of one of these large boxes. He finishes and he gets it up into an overhead and he looks at him and says, "I always rack my weights."
And that's not the funny part is that's not even where he's trying to go. So like the first guy that's like, not what I was, and he's just like, all right, whatever. And another guy comes by later and he kind of gives you the same deal, and you gotta give him that I always rack my rates look. And he's like, if you haven't noticed, we try to keep things a very particular condition. We want it to stay that way.
You want to know
I put the crate down. I look at the second guy and I go, "Do you know what I am?"
He looks at you and it's obvious he knows what you are. There's also a look of like, I don't care. Could you just make sure you put the crate back where you got it from when you're done? Please and thank you. And now he doesn't say that, but a lot of that is conveyed on his face and his body language.
Yeah, so he pauses and he says, "Then you know that I was raised clean. I put my shit back. It'll look no different when I'm done."
That's all we want.
Yeah. So
Enjoy your run.
Westcott, well,
Go ahead,
he's having
Brad,
his
go ahead, Vance.
initial toning down. We'll have the other 3 Marines eat, clean their gear, and then start cleaning the APC. To keep them busy.
When you're cleaning the APC, do you do it out on like the main hangar deck, or do you leave it on the drop ship with like the ramp down or something?
So, which has the drains for the soapy water that's about to happen?
Definitely the hangar deck.
Hangar deck.
Yeah. I mean, the dropship probably has some sort of drainage system, but it's not nearly as efficient or
No, we're
good.
going for the full-on car wash treatment.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm using to keep the 2 boots busy.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just imagining Wally stuck trying to scrape all the carbon out of those twin Gatling anti-personnel cannons.
Yes.
You talking about the one that
Warren
you talking about the one that
them.
Is that the one that sits like on the back turret and then slides down for stowage?
No, that's the particle cannon.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
On the nose is the little turret with
the
twin
little
Gatlings.
itty bitty. Yeah. the little itty bitty that's about yay big each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I pull Warren to the side saying, keep them well distracted, but you're welcome to take appropriate breaks and such. And then I go looking for Pike, knowing that giving him a half hour to start working on stuff to get him out of the system.
Yeah, when you find Pike half an hour later, he's been lifting hard, he's been lifting heavy, he's worked himself into sweat, and he looks like he's in a better distracted mood.
Better distracted.
Ah, good. Time for jogging now, I take it.
All right. And he puts the box down. He walks to one side and says, "Catch this." And he'll like go to throw the ratchet strap over the top.
I will do it all spick, span, and proper.
Yeah, he does like a walk around. Looks the same as I found it. All right, you want to run? I'm down to run, and yeah, we'll start running on the around the flight deck.
Yeah, she will keep running until she basically drops or Pike comes down some more.
Yeah,
because she will keep going, too.
He's in a better mood, but he's definitely still worried. And like he'll get to as he's going and he sees that you're starting to get tired, but he's not quite there yet. Like at each corner, he'll stop and do like a calisthenic, and then he'll run the next section and do a calisthenic, and he doesn't ask you to do it. It's clear he's trying to wear himself out faster than you.
I just keep jogging at my normal pace.
Yeah.
Warren,
Pike's
sorry.
probably going to work out. He plans to keep working out and trying to work out at really high tempo until he can get himself tired.
Well-
After this, after we're done jogging, we're doing combative drills and not circle of death. And by the time we're gonna keep jogging until they're done cleaning the APC is my goal.
Okay.
Because then Pike will be ready for, you know, if we
Alright.
had a dummy, you would punch here, and this is how you would block type of combatives training, like the slow-mo version of training instead of beating the shit out of someone
going through the
training.
drill and breaking it down. All right.
Yeah, the
Um,
break it down drill version, because we don't have the standard med bay here to patch ourselves up after we have normal combatives training.
On that note, let's check in with Warren and see if he's doing anything special or unique besides making sure the two boots clean the shit out of that APC.
So he's just got menacing. So I'm going to basically just say like do this better, clean that barrel, and I see some stuff in that tread.
I like the
And-
idea. I like the idea that because you picked it up because Pike has it, that you're just like, oh, I remember one time Pike said some shit to me. I'm gonna drop that on these boots. It's
Yep.
like,
oh yeah,
Yep.
we
with
hear
like a two wits. Yeah, with the two wits, of course.
And he's and not just Pike, any other authority figure he's ever had in his entire life, other NCOs, other leaders, other bosses, parents maybe, he's throwing it all at these little bastards. And it's
Yeah.
like, it's not even hazing after a while. It's just, I fucking hate these guys.
I just gave them the most
I'm
obvious task to
into-
keep them out of trouble, and as well as in line of sight.
Yeah, I think Wescott, every now and again, you look over towards the APC, and all you see, like, every time you look over, Warren he's not screaming, but he's definitely in a raised voice, loudly exclaiming how either Wright or Wally have fucked up a particular subtask and need to redo it.
Yeah, you know, normal Marine shit, so they feel comfortable and welcomed home.
All right.
Nice.
A couple hours later, Badge returns with one of his technicians, and he pulls Pike aside and sends the technician up into the dropship. Assuming that everybody's still down on the hangar deck and whatnot.
Yeah, I think like mid-run, I see him, and I just look at Wescott and I say, like quietly, because I don't want the others to hear, "Thank you, Wescott. I'll be back."
Ooh, Wescott just got her free one revelation experience point.
I got it, thank you.
Yeah. and apparently an experience point to go with it.
Yeah. I'm marking that on my sheet right now.
All right. As you approach Badge, he is purposefully standing off to not just one side, but like obviously over here where only you and I can converse.
Yeah.
And he says really quietly, "I'm going to level with you now. Because for now, everything is good enough. There is nothing wrong with either Eckhart or crew chief. They were not quarantined. There was no medical concern. They had not been vetted anywhere near as much as you guys have. That's why they were sequestered in such a way. My tech guy is about to go wake them up."
I figured that's what was going on, and chose to trust your intentions, knowing that you were saying what you had to.
I just couldn't say anything then, but now that I can, I'm also going to reveal this, that none of you are vetted appropriately for what I'm about to ask of you. But I
Is
don't
it
have
is
much
it-
option.
is it something to help deal with this cancer?
Let's call it. Okay, I'm trying to think of what the word is on one here. Let's call it exploratory surgery, and I'll get back to you in a few hours with something a little solid.
All right.
And he will linger for a moment to see if there's anything else you want to add.
The way he says like "all right" is very much like he's conveying support.
Okay.
Right? Like he's basically he's trying to convey like pre-buy into anything that helps unfuck this thing that he is so offended that exists.
Yeah, so he sticks around for a few more seconds to see if there was anything else you wanted, and then he just turns around and leaves. And probably by the time you get done talking to Wescott, as to because I'm assuming you're going to update her with something at this point. By the time
No,
he's
I'm not talking. I'm going straight up into the dropship. I want to be there when she wakes up.
okay, you pass the tech
Yeah.
guy
I'm
as he's
actually
leaving.
slowing down and doing the cooldown walk now that I
Yeah.
see he's finally calmed the fuck on down.
Yep. As you return or enter the dropship going up into the sleep deck, the tech guy is leaving as you're coming in. It obviously he didn't need to do much. He just needed to flip a few buttons or whatever, but he looks at you and he gives you a, let's call it a friendly, non-invasive, non-intrusive. Like he's not trying to be rude or anything. He just gives you a friendly little nod. And there's a bit of a conveyance of, I understand your situation and I know this is shitty, but this is our job. This is what we do. Try to have a good day.
Yeah, the sympathetic but friendly bro
Yeah.
nod as he walks
Yep.
by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as you enter the sleeping area, the pods are opening up.
Just had that open. Remember the rank of the fucking chief.
I believe he's like a sergeant or something, but I could be wrong.
Jeez.
Or maybe he's just a flight specialist or some shit. I saw it earlier.
Yeah, I'm not anything here. Zaborski, Cassidos, Roy.
Yep, that's the old platoon. Roy, the android for your platoon.
Yeah, that I treated shitty because he's a fucking toaster.
Yeah, he probably had all of about 20 minutes on of screen time ever.
His hand stats. I don't know where he is. I'll just call him Chief. Call it a day.
Sounds good.
But yeah. So are they already getting out of the pods, or are they just starting to wake
They're
up?
opening up. They're starting to come to.
I'll lean against the wall opposite the pods and let them come out. Not going to try to rush them out because I know they're waking up from cryo. So
Yeah, it doesn't take long.
Actually,
Go ahead.
while I'm walking to that position, I'm going to open up a locker, grab 2 hydration packs, and just be waiting to give them to them.
Okay. Yeah. It doesn't take long, as we all know. We've all watched the movies. It doesn't take long once the pods start opening. Usually within a moment or two, people inside start waking up, and you've got 2 slightly groggy, somewhat dehydrated, and completely unaware, and also maybe even a little bit surprised to see you, of all people, pilot and flight crew chief.
Lieutenant, Chief, welcome back to the world.
Yeah, I think Eckhart does one of those looks around, and she's just like, this is different.
Yeah, it's not where you were trying to go.
Where are we?
On a low mileage ship.
Just looks at it, she's like, what the fuck does that mean? And she reaches for what she assumes is one of the hydration packs that was intended for her.
Yeah, I give them each a hydration pack.
Yeah. Starts sucking it down.
We could probably talk more afterwards. I think the post-op brief is intended to without any influence from me. All
You're
I'll say,
such a font of confidence right now.
look, the guy who's doing it, we've talked about him before.
The badge guy?
Mm-hmm.
The guy you kept coming up with like 17 different names. You called him something different every time he came out of your mouth. Weird. It took really a long time for me to figure out that you were talking about the same person.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I've had a few conversations with Elijah, and
The best part is when you start using names and spelling out words for a secret hidden message for the viewers only. I'm sorry, go ahead.
we've already done our debrief with him. And there's some follow-up process. We're restricted on the ship.
So we're not on the Tambatam, and we're restricted. And I'm about to go have a sit down with somebody that I don't know who they are, and kind of weirded you out.
Yeah.
Sounds normal. All right. She smirks, and it's very clear that she is not comfortable with this feeling.
I mean, considering what was possible when I first woke up and your pods wouldn't wake up, this is far better than I imagined it was going.
She gives you a look that is like, the fuck did you just say? And then she's like, I'm not sure if I want the answer to that question. And she mutters that as she finishes off her hydration pack and stands up to go put some clothes on.
They woke up me and mine first to debrief us first.
They did that. Who landed the ship?
Their
Mother.
mother.
Okay.
Apparently,
I guess I'm
it's
gonna have to go make sure Mother didn't ding any armor. They do the post-op too?
They did,
I'm gonna have to double check their work.
of course.
And she looks when she says
Now-
that, she's looking at the crew chief. And the crew chief is giving those, and the crew chief's just one of those, fuck. Alright, I'll go talk to whoever I gotta fucking talk to.
Now you guys are gonna have to do this debrief first.
I guess I will talk to whoever I need to fucking talk to after I talk to whoever I need to fucking talk to now. He is definitely the salty 20+ years veteran.
Yeah.
I don't care what his stats are in the book at this point. He's about to be named Frank Sanchez, whatever his name was. He's about to be the oldest, crustiest motherfucker ever. Somebody who should have made like E7 or E8, but he's stuck at E6 because he just keeps fucking up.
I understand my limitations, but I think I've got a measure of badge man, and I trust him. I don't know about anybody else involved in this, but I do trust him.
Sanchez is just like whatever at this point. He's kind of checked out of this conversation and heading off to a locker to put his clothes on as well. Maybe grab some food or something. Eckhart says you trust him. What about who else is on this ship?
It's crude. And who he represents is getting some feed or back brief or whatever. They're recording everything.
She looks around. She suddenly appears a little bit self-conscious. Throws her top on. Closes it up. And she says, okay. That's not creepy at all. I'm going to grab some coffee and go see about this briefing. Do you have any idea where I'm supposed to go?
I mean, I could take you to there if you want. I've been there already.
Excellent. Coffee.
The
No. Coffee.
He puts his hands up and he walks over to the coffee machine and starts it while she gets her mug.
And I want to be clear, when you say her mug, she has turned around back to her locker and grabbed a big I'm going to go with like a big 24-ounce metal mug with a handle, and it probably says something like "Fly the Dangerous Skies" or some dumb shit like that, right? Because
I'm pretty sure Pike gave her a mug already.
Oh,
yeah,
you did. What did it say
Yeah.
on it? I don't remember.
Don't make me use my pilot voice.
She grabs the Fly the Dangerous Skies one and sets it down, and she's like, nah, I gotta use this one. Don't make me use my pilot voice. And she looks at you when she says that, even though she's kind of muttering a little bit, and she just looks at you and then turns around and waits for the coffee to finish.
Yeah, and he's got the machine going for a fresh brew.
Yeah. I'm going to summarize. The next several hours go by. You guys do the things you do. You wanted a medical team to come check everybody out.
Yeah.
So the back briefing that Eckhart and the crew chief give, he gives you kind of a brief synopsis of what was discussed. From the sounds of it, it's not anything more than what you would expect. She ended up she didn't even get, let me rephrase that. The only sensor data she was able to pull from the attack was the sensor data of the attack. Kinetic strike, non-nuclear. that was the best answer that she could come up as far as, you know, what was used or whatever. But as to who did it, indeterminate, because she was on the wrong side of the planet when it happened, or wrong side of the moon. All her data came from multiple flyovers or whatever, as she made orbit around the moon while she was waiting for you guys to wake up. Other than that, the briefing was pretty much the same sort of briefing. Deep Void was mentioned. I don't remember specifically what you guys talked about regarding Deep Void, but whatever she has, you know. And so that was also given to Badge. Badge doesn't tell her anything that you guys don't already know. Some time goes by. The medical team shows up, gives you guys a good... Each of you probably spends a good 20 minutes with a doctor behind closed doors, going over various things, checking with your medical histories, whatever. As far as any sort of like brain injury or any other lingering injuries from the mine, nothing is detected. Nothing is indicated. There is concern about, I almost said Rodance. There is some concern about Wescott's not really there mental perspective. That gets noted in her file. Or you can assume it is, if you want. Wally's claustrophobia gets mentioned, unless you choose not to mention it. And you're muted right now, according to Zoom.
Wally is definitely in the anxious, I don't like being here on a ship level claustrophobia, I'm assuming.
Okay.
Because like personal small rooms, he's not a fan of because that's like elevator size.
Yeah, he's probably more comfortable out in the hangar deck.
Yeah, like the hangar deck's like the only place he's comfortable.
Yeah. So I imagine he talks about that a little bit, at least a little bit, with his review.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else revealing or speaking about their concerns with medical professionals? Since all of you have like a 20-minute one-on-one.
I mean, they're not gonna like give me a nap relief staff just because I asked for one.
No,
so...
they are not. In fact, if you do ask for one, they're gonna give you a look. They're gonna be like, "Don't think you need one right now. You seem mostly in control of your faculties. You're just not giving a shit right now."
Mm-hmm.
I think they actually, at some point, somebody says that kind of offhandedly, and then realizes maybe they shouldn't have said that, and then they kind of shrug it off. Because
I just slow blink at them and smile slightly.
Yeah, I mean, oh God, I gotta stop trying to be a smartass, because my smartass is like, yeah, and they don't give a fuck that you don't give a fuck.
But Wescott gives more no fucks than they give no fucks.
Well, they're not gonna get into a no fuck given competition with you. Just give me like whatever.
They acted like they just did.
Okay, all right, enough, goddammit.
Behold the field upon which I grow my fucks and see that it is barren.
Indeed. And I have a bigger barren field. No, mine's bigger. No, I'm pretty sure mine's bigger.
Pike's gonna ask about he's gonna ask about the Nova.
Ooh, okay. What specifically are you going to ask about the Nova?
He wants to know if it's an approved part of the AW program, or if this was something, if this was a Deep Void thing.
Okay, that's a great question that I had not prepared for. So let me start with, what exactly do you have recorded as far as notes and whatnot that I told you regarding like who put it together, where was it coming from, etc. I don't remember if I gave you that information. I may have or may not have. Okay, in that case,
all Pike knows is that it's as he was told that it was in development. So he needed to, if he used it, to come back and give a very detailed accounting of the effects, the side effects, like how long it lasted, all that sort of stuff, in order to refine the product. So he has no idea who's doing it. He just knows that it's...
And it's obviously meant for AWs specifically, because for a normie to take it, they lose at least half a dozen organs.
Yeah, he was told that like it's specifically tuned for his altered biology.
Okay. No, and in fact, that line of questioning started by you, actually opens up a whole new investigation. Now, you yourself, your character doesn't see that. The camera gets that moment of you talking with your medical provider, asking about this Nova thing, wondering if it's connected in any way with Deep Void, and that medical provider going, "That's a great question. I have no idea." And then asking for more information about what you know about Nova. That information we then see gets entered into the computer. We see lines of text on the screen and everything else. And then we see Badgeman receiving a medical report with your name on it, Nova, as a subcategory, and then a description of Nova. And he's sitting there going, shit.
So in this medical thing, right? Like he's describing like his experience to this because it's obvious they're taking notes because they want to
Mhm.
ask more questions and figure this out. He gives a very detailed description of
Your
like,
20-minute one-on-one becomes like 45 minutes.
yeah, he's the longest medical appointment. Like he gives a detailed description of how he felt and the things that he could do while he was on the Nova.
Mhm.
Like the exhaustion, the joint pain and stuff afterwards. And he expresses concern, like if this is a deep void thing, I'm worried about what this could be doing to me. So, and he looks very reluctant.
One of the
And
things that is said during
he
your conversation, especially when you get to this point of making the conclusion of like, if this is deep void, what's the possible ramifications for me? And that provider looks at you and says, if this is deep void, something meant for AWs, have you considered? He's not going to use the word Sibkin. You know what I mean when I use the word Sibkin, though.
Yeah.
And he says, have you considered what this might mean for your Sibkin? I have to be very careful. I don't know if I want to make that canon or not, using the term Sibkin in this case.
or
Your battle brothers. That might be a little bit better.
Yeah, with like big capital letters, your brothers.
Yeah. What does
Um,
this mean? What do you think this might mean for your brothers?
we're not being produced anymore.
No, but there are plenty of you out there.
Yeah,
And a lot of them are Blackguard.
yeah,
And you've come up against Blackguard.
yeah.
And to date, none of them have been on Nova, which may or may not be a good sign.
I mean, I'm not on the roster, so testing something on me is less impactful than testing it on somebody who's closer.
You could have been a test dummy.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's good stuff as far as my experience without any idea of the long term here. And they've got the
Somewhere
data
in
on
the
its
back of your
efficacy.
head, when you say it was good for me, or whatever exactly you had just said, somewhere in the back of your head, wits one die or not, you get. I never really felt the side effects, did I? You get that nagging voice. If you had a mom or an older brother or sister, like a legitimate one,
Yeah,
it would have been in their voice.
yeah. So he says like it was good for me, but I don't know what continuing to use it, if it will continue to be or something, if it's going to burn out part of the system that they've built in me.
It sounds like it's built to run on your own body's processes. I mean, looking at this report of caloric intake after the fact and joint pain and everything else, it sounds like it uses what the body produces. It just uses it up much faster to give much bigger results right away.
Yeah.
Continued use can't be good.
Yeah, I think so too. I've got the one dose left, and as much as the warfighter in me doesn't want to do this, I think the future lives of my brothers are more important than mine. And he'll pull out his one dose and hand it to them and say,
Okay. Yeah, I think you get a look very much like the one that just went across my face from this guy who's looking at this pill, and I'm just picturing this stupid little pill, right? Stupid, like, like some of the allergy pills that are tiny, right? And he's just looking at it, and he's like,
if this is going to hurt my brothers and myself, I want to know. I think it's more important that gets analyzed than.
yeah. He He's
Yeah,
kind of
there's so much pain in Pike's face. He's handing a weapon away.
yeah, yeah. This is like Rassi giving up the flamer.
It's
uh,
like Pike giving up all of his ammo for the RPG.
yeah.
He's had a really rough time lately.
So he takes he grabs a pair of like tongs or whatever and grabs the pill, drops it in a little plastic bag, scribbles something on the bag, slips it into his lab coat pocket, and he says, I think we can get started on analyzing this pretty quick. We will try to figure out where this is coming from and potentially what we may need to do to counter it. If you experience anything that is inexplicable to you, that you think may be related to your previous use of this Nova, please don't hesitate to let us know.
I
And then he
haven't
takes
noticed.
his medical folder that he started on you and he closes it, sets it down. Is there anything else before I send you back to your people?
He looks conflicted, like he wants to bring us something else and says, "I don't think so.
Are you sure?
I
You look conflicted, like maybe you want to say something else.
I
I
don't."
tried to say it with a straight face, but he does
Yeah.
definitely ask that. I really am
I'm
somewhat too much of a smartass sometimes.
I'm not sure if there's something wrong or if it's just me spending time with the normies.
He turns his head, but doesn't say anything at the word normies.
And he looks up at this guy and says, "I don't mean that in a derogatory way."
He shrugs and says, "Please continue."
Um, I know when I was in my AW units, we did the sleep screenings to monitor our emotional stability and aggression so that we could identify when it was out of control before we ended up with friendly fire or or anything that would compromise the mission due to overaggression.
Okay.
I haven't had that in a while. I'm not asking for it. I think there's I don't think I'm emotionally unstable. And I don't think my aggression is worse than it's been before. I think my aggression with all the things that have been going on lately are almost back to when I was in an AW unit.
There's a very brief flashback to several hours ago when you destroyed a podium Hulk style. And then it comes
Yeah.
right back to you.
Yeah. I tried to curb a lot of that when working with the normies. And my aggression's not at an unacceptable level for an AW unit. I just think I'm being more emotional than during the screening times. I don't know. I don't think there's a stability issue, but I'm also not a doctor.
Do you feel as though hold on, let me think about how he would phrase this.
But the only way I can think to describe this doc is everything was impersonal before. And I feel a level of fucks that I'm not used to.
He studies your face for a moment, partially reading your body language, partially trying to figure out how best to phrase what he wants to say. And he says, "Do you feel like you're becoming one of us?"
I don't think I'll ever be able to be like the rest of you, but
No, physically,
maybe
no. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, perhaps.
maybe closer, but
Does it scare you? Is that what you're feeling? Because suddenly this guy also has a PhD in psychoanalysis.
I just want to know that I'm stable and that this isn't a defect.
You've got several years of active AW service and a few years minimum more of special operations service with normals. I would think that if there were any defects, they would have been found by now. But I am only the guy on the outside looking in. You, inside, perhaps some more looking might be the way to go. More self-reflection, introspection. Have you tried meditation? And I realize I'm saying that as a smartass. He's dead serious. And I'm looking directly at Luke when I say that. He watches you stumble for words and then reaches into one of the drawers of his desk and he pulls out I'm going to call it Idiot's Guide to Meditation. But let's just say it's a similar self-help type book of how to be introspective. And he hands it to you. Says, keep it. But read it. And if it's not enough to help you balance what you're feeling versus what you feel you should, maybe then consider seeing a professional.
Okay.
And I can't wait for Eckhart to give you shit for that book.
Yeah.
There's a book on Chinese medicine. I'm not at UPP.
Mhm.
Yeah, he gets up to leave, and then he turns and looks back at the medic and says, "That Nova, yeah, it's very effective." Also thinking that if I had used it more, I think that power might be addictive.
Well, they say
Even-
absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
Even just walking out of the room, I feel like I'm giving up something huge. I need to leave before I think about this. And he just like walks out.
Now he's a philosophy major.
Listen, anybody can read a book and regurgitate lines of the book. All right, I'm going to cut forward to the next scene because I think we can do this scene and then do the end of episode cliffhanger. Couldn't think of the word.
Oh,
Hey,
Yeah. So
as long as the boots clean the APC properly and Wescott doesn't have to kick their ass.
again.
well, a few hours after the medical reviews, Badge pulls everybody back together, and I'm gonna have to kind of rush through this a little bit here. Badge pulls the team back together for a briefing. You have a new mission. He's offering you a mission, I should say. He also says how you conduct this mission will prove to him where your loyalties lie. To Vaughn and this possible connection between Vaughn and Deep Void, or to the Marines and the United Colonies, Earth, United Americas, whatever the hell it's called. On the screen is an image of a Kremlin-class destroyer. I don't have an image to share with you, but if you look in the books, you could find one. Or even just Google Kremlin destroyer, you'll find one.
I'm not Googling that in this particular climate.
I'm sorry?
I'm not Googling that in this particular climate.
That's fair. It's safe. I have done this myself.
Kremlin.
Well, especially if you put
Kremlin.
Alien RPG next to it.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. That's
you
a
should be
little bit
okay.
better.
Although, again, that's fair. Listen, kids, search terms matter.
The
on the screen,
context.
yeah, on the screen is the Kremlin-class Hunter-Destroyer. And Badge basically says, intercepted comms chatter recovered from some very dark networks indicates a Blackguard team or more is going to seize this ship for reasons unknown. Your objectives will be to secure that ship yourself and prevent its capture by the Blackguard, determine what the Blackguard's mission parameters and objectives are, and gather any further intelligence that is available. Once this is complete, Use Mother aboard your dropship to backplot a jump to a set of coordinates that we have already given to Eckhart. And he will point to Eckhart, and then he'll tap like his breast pocket. And in Eckhart's jacket, breast pocket is whatever the Alien RPG, or excuse me, the Alien movies version of a thumb drive floppy disk sort of thing that will have the coordinates on it.
Oh, it's Future
A
Space 80s.
laptop?
It's
Yeah.
totally a floppy disk.
Oh yeah, it's probably. I was thinking at least maybe the 5.2 instead of the big one, but or 3.5 rather. He continues to explain. He says it is a 2-day journey at FTL to get to the Kremlin ship, and another 4 days later to get to the coordinates that I have given you. If you're not there within 169 hours, that is 7 days, by the way, I will assume you are not coming at all. I cannot be any more clear. For your safety, your service record, and your future, you will need to make that rendezvous.
Hmm.
And then we close with any questions. That's where the scene ends, as far as the TV show is concerned.
Hmm.
Uh,
So we just gotta capture the thing.
It deal with the Blackguard team and figure out why they wanted to take it, and then make it to the drop-off point.
all within the 7 days, or more accurately, 169 hours.
Nice.
Everybody gets a free experience point for participation.
Hmm.
Did you risk something to further your personal agenda?
I stood up to Badgeman
You did.
with my
Couple times.
concern for Eckhart. I was a real pain in the ass about it.
I don't know if you can consider Badge your rival, though.
Well, it's not my rival. I just
No, that's separately.
Oh, yeah. No, I misread that. You're right. For your personal agenda, which your agenda is survive with Eckhart.
have a future with Eckhart. Yeah.
Okay. Nope. That's you can do that because you definitely risk something there. Anybody else? I don't think we really had too much risking in that particular regard. You risk your life for your buddy. This might be another one of those episodes where there's not a lot of experience points because of the nature of the episode.
I got nothing for that one.
Yeah, no worries. Did you challenge or stand up to your rival, the Eye of the Tiger clause? Get it, clause.
I didn't do anything outward and well. I just like openly in the meeting asked whether or not Wally and Wright were plants.
Is Wally your rival at this point? Did you change it?
Well, no, Wally is definitely still my rival.
Okay. Well, I couldn't remember if Wally had become your new rival or if Wescott still was in some way.
Yeah. So I would like to argue that I just openly called out like your performance was so bad. I think you're a traitor plant.
You know, and I forgot I meant to actually give you a chance to do something with that, but I think it's actually this is something I was thinking about earlier. Was I meant initially at some point to give you guys a chance to figure out whether or not you're going to keep Wally, but also given the nature that you're in this position with Badge, he's not in a position to offer you new bodies, right? So this next mission, you might have to take Wally with you, and whether or not he makes it back is a totally different animal.
Yeah,
I mean, can he protest?
That's a fair question. I mean, he could definitely bring it up at least. Whether or not he gets an answer that he can work with is a different one.
I mean, someone who is non-compliant can't be brought on a special operations mission. Like just in general, like that's a.
That
Yeah,
will be
Wally
you know what?
is-
That'll be an interesting scene to play out as our opener for the next episode. The Wally versus Pike. You can't make me get in that tube. Oh yes, I can, motherfucker. The question is whether or not I want you in that tube.
yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have that problem because he really, really, really does not want to go back in a cryopod.
I bet.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but that's my argument for messing with my rival.
I'll give you that though. That argument a little light, but I can stand behind that. Anybody else for standing up to
Well,
your
I
rival?
mean, technically, if we're gonna go that route, I
Mhm.
probably could have counted as risking my life for my friend because Pike is listed as my buddy, and I just dropped a whole shit ton of illegal stuff on him just to back what he was saying.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
all the war
Yeah,
crime evidence.
Let me
Yeah.
illustrate all the crimes I've committed for my friend here to back him up.
Yes, that's basically
That's
what she did
fair.
and gave no fucks.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair. There was definitely a lot of like, well, we're in it now. Let me risk my possible future with war crime evidence, of which we are clearly guilty. Let me show you exhibits 1 through 39.
I have them PowerPointed and
Yeah, PowerPointed, collated, sorted.
annotated.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, no, Wescott can take that one too. There was 1 or 2 panic rolls made. Pike made one.
Yep.
Somebody else I thought made one. I could be wrong.
I had my rage twitch when being told that Eckhart might not be okay.
Okay.
My people didn't make any.
Okay. Warren and Wright, I don't think they made any. I guess it really only was Pike. Did you overcome a dangerous event using violence or non-violent means? Don't think that one applies.
I yelled at the new boots. No.
Significant discovery or revelation? Yes, everybody. Period. I'm gonna blanket give that one out.
Okay.
Just because there was a lot. There was a big lore dump in here throughout the process of both back briefing what Badge knew, as well as throwing out. I mean, at this point, we've officially made it canon that General Vaughn is definitely connected to Deep Void. The specifics on how she's connected is currently unclear, but she's absolutely involved, along with some big names like Wei Yu, governmental agencies, corporations, in and out of the United Americas. Extraordinary actions. Anybody have any?
I didn't throttle Badge Man.
Doesn't count. Sorry.
I didn't throttle the techs.
Also,
For walking
sorry,
into my
didn't
shit?
count.
Look, I couldn't do any extraordinary actions because I got told I wasn't allowed to hack things. So
You weren't told that you couldn't hack things. You were told that your hacking was going to fail.
that's saying that I wasn't allowed to do them.
It's no, you can still hack. You just wouldn't have gotten anywhere. The 404k. And because nobody stopped Wally's pay yet, everybody gets experience point for getting paid.
How much money do we have?
Pike was going to do all of that, but he was so he was so out of shape about
Oh yeah.
Eckhart that he just needed to cool down. He couldn't even do any of that.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I told you, I wrote this particular session with the intent of basically saying, here's my players, I'm gonna fuck with them a little bit. I think if anybody got
I
away
thought
with
I
not
did a
being
pretty
fucked with,
good
it was
job.
mostly Luke.
The what now?
Luke, I didn't really get to fuck with you. I fucked with Kane and I fucked with Rodance a little bit, but
I mean, we fucked with Wright by just dropping that we murdered Marines and our war crimes and all
I
that
can't
other
help but
shit.
imagine.
Very happy.
I can't help but imagine that whoever was, anytime anybody said anything about actively killing Marines, specifically us being Marines, killing other actual Marines, and then while they're saying that, they're looking dead at Wright going, I killed people just like us.
Yeah, no. Wescott would have been deadpanning, like looking forward, like repeating the bullet points off the PowerPoint. Like,
I'm just trying to picture what this PowerPoint presentation would have looked like. It's like 900 slides, all with like 2 or 3 bullet points of, we did this, and then we did this, and we did that, and then Pike backhanded Wright, and then
And
Pike
here's my
told Wally
vacation
to go
code
fuck
photos.
off, and then we
I
killed
mean, I didn't
Marines.
get down to that level, but pretty damn close.
Yeah, it just deadpan, just absolute dead ass deadpan the whole time. No emotional inflection whatsoever. Speaking of no emotional inflection whatsoever, feedback and outro comments. What do you got, Rodance? That was a
Hey,
joke,
I
by the
think
way.
she played her role pretty well. With her, the failure of her role this morning.
Yeah.
Wally doesn't really have an awful lot to do because I expect him to not survive this next going mission, because if he doesn't get black bagged, we're going to be leaving him in a box somewhere.
I'm just picturing him dead on a beach or some shit. Not on a beach, but like
Yeah, I
just
mean,
literally
like we're
a
gonna
bullet
get
in the
drop
back of his
podded in
head
or
that
some
matches
shit,
your
and
guys'
his will
rifle
just not
caliber.
go off.
Oh,
So.
speaking of rifles, I need to add stuff to somebody. So I don't want to forget that. Open. Oh, Martin, I see you changed his name. Had to fit the theme.
Martin?
Oh yeah, he needed a W last name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
then
I mean,
M
you're
is
gonna walk
basically an
into
upside
that one
down
for the rest of
letter.
this game, Omar.
Yeah.
You're gonna get W last names for every character,
I
except for Pike. Pike is the only exception.
at this rate, Pike will be the only exception.
He's only the only one allowed.
Yeah.
Everyone else has to have a W.
Yep.
Pike got his name before we discovered the W theme.
Yeah, it was kind of cool that we all like somehow ended up
It
with
was like you guys
W's,
were all
me and you.
telepathically talking and made it happen. It's crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah. Just be happy that we haven't started plotting what horrors we're going to inflict on you with names for the next game.
Oh yes.
Let's
That's
How
some
not.
about
thoughts on that.
ours? Our names are funny. Or maybe S's. Because then we can
Hmm.
have the weird
Luke,
fake S
what kind
sound.
of outro thoughts do you got for us tonight?
Entertaining roleplay session. Thoughts on next game and stuff like that are gonna be pretty fun. Taking over a Kremlin class destroyer is gonna be probably pretty exciting.
So the Kremlin class destroyer is the UPP equivalent of the Conestoga frigate. I think the destroyer is slightly larger, carries more shit, but fundamentally they're more or less near peer or near same size and whatnot, mission role, etc.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I still have to plan how exactly you guys are going to have opposition.
I mean,
But the idea is
we can-
definitely there. I just
we
gotta
could just
finish
have
the
a feel good
details.
mission.
What's that?
We could just have a feel good mission.
Yeah, you
and
get there,
murder.
the Blackguard was never there, and these UPP are like, "Oh yeah, sure, no, you can take over right now. Here, I'll give you all the keys and all the codes."
Yeah, we just
Get
make
ice
one
cream.
manipulation roll and convince them it's in their best interest, and we'll drop them off somewhere, and then
Go meet up with Badgeman at his special little coordinates and be like, "Hey, we got the whole ass ship, and all our ammo was magically shot. It's weird. I need more ammo."
ignore the really big duffel bag on the floor.
Yeah, right. Or the other really big duffel bag next to it with all our grenades.
And you
Oh
don't.
man.
There's no body bag. That is not a body bag.
It is a suspiciously taped, body-shaped ammo.
Yeah, right. Luke, Redan, do you guys have
Um,
anything else before I move on to Kane?
No.
Kane, final thoughts, outro comments. What do you got?
I'm kind of enjoying Pike stepping on himself over Eckhart now.
Yeah, I like that.
Changing his agenda has meant that he has gone from we're doing this thing and we're quiet about it to I'm now so committed to this thing I'm having trouble making it not super goddamn obvious.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to figure out a moment to have a Pike Eckhart scene. You know, sometime when there's not bullets being involved.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
I think I think Pike is going to, since he knows that neither of the boots are plants, he is going to want to have a sit down conversation with each of them to figure out like
Ooh, that'll be a
what
good
he needs
scene.
to do.
I think that'll be a great scene to have as your ship leaves the bad ship. I don't know what else to call it at this point.
I mean, he'd want to have that conversation while the mission prep is going on the unnamed clean ship.
Yeah. Well, what I foresee happening there is you guys will be doing mission prep and loadout and whatnot, and then your ship still has to get away from the moon or planet or whatever a sufficient distance before you can kick in the FTL and or you have to accelerate to a certain speed. I don't know what exactly the Alien RPG FTL rules are in that regard. I don't think they're even mentioned, but we never see a ship go into FTL ever, actually, in any of the Alien movies. We just see them leaving.
That's
Or
fair.
arriving.
They don't go faster than light. They go near light speed,
Right.
and everyone goes to sleep. That's why
Yeah.
they sleep for so long.
Yeah. Well, like, and from like the technical side of it, from the movie production angle, is it's a lot cheaper to just show the ship flying through space and people waking up or going to sleep than it is to show some sort of flashy bits of going into hyperspace or coming out of it. So
Yeah, I mean, that's when they were like in Aliens, so they were like, oh, hey, how long before somebody comes to rescue us? And they were like 3 weeks.
yeah. Yep. All right, well, that is it for us here tonight. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, please consider hitting all of the buttons, the like, subscribe, share, etc., etc., etc. You can also join us on Discord. Watching us live during the stream, you can type in !Discord to get the link to join the server. Otherwise, in the YouTube video description below, you can see the description. Excuse me. You can see the Discord link and join us that way. Come hang out on the server and talk to us and hang out and see what we've got planned. There's always something in planning, something moving, something dark side. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. At any rate, let's get out of here. Stay safe out there, my friends. This world is a crazy dark place. So make sure you're doing what you got to do to take care of you and yours. And as for me and mine, we are out of here. Have a good one, my friends. See you next time.